यहाँ #1 रहना एक जरूरत है। ये जंग जीतना हर एक टीम का सपना है और इस सपने को पाने के लिए ये अपना सब कुछ दांव पर लगाने को तैयार है। Pakistan is ready for the ultimate action.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to PUBG Mobile presents Pro League Pakistan Fall 2022, brought to you by Oppo. My name is Shadow, and alongside me, joining me is Lakshay, and we are into day number 2 of week number 3. And Lakshay, how excited are you?
Well, again, definitely looking forward to this day because we know things went a little south the previous time, but today, hopefully, teams are going to be that much more elated to be able to participate and, of course, showcase their best result. But we'll have to see, Shadow, as to what exactly is going to happen today, because after all, this is the final week before we jump into the grand finals.
Well, certainly the matches are very numbered now, and this is the only week that team who are in the bottom, they have to perform, and they were performing in the very first day itself of week number 3. They were trying to perform. They were coming at the top, taking 5 of the top dogs and beating them down as well. And 52 Esports got a chicken dinner for themselves. Even the other teams who were in the later half of the standings, they were trying to come up, but will they try and do this, the same thing today also? Do you think so?
I hope definitely that they, well, again, I mean, the possibility for any team, in fact, is what I'm going to say, is there to be able to participate and, of course, walk away with that chicken dinner. But yes, from week 1 compared to week 3 and the way the games in the background have progressed, there has been a change. There has been a shift in terms of initially we saw the teams that were doing really well walk up with many points, lot of elimination points for themselves, and then slowly that trend itself has changed where the other teams that were at the latter half of the leaderboard have now started pushing and now have actually started accumulating those points, as you perfectly mentioned, for 52 Esports, for example.
Certainly 52 Esports, and 52 Esports, they were on the 17th spot, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they're sitting on the 17th or something, some position literally on the bottom. But HWE, on the other hand, they still have the chance to be in the top 12 and qualify for the SA Championship or try and beat some of the teams out there. But talking about schedule, well, the league stage started from 30th August, 34th August, then to 4th September. Right now, we are into the week 3, day number 2 of league stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, as we mentioned earlier as well, this is going to be the final week before we jump into the finals itself, right? The grand finals itself, which of course is going to be starting from 30th September all the way till 2nd October. So yes, it is going to be a very crucial 3-day, 4-day, in fact, because today is day number 2. These teams, they are going to have to battle it out to their level best. If not, then they will not be able to participate, and of course they have the opportunity to, of course, walk away and participate in SA Championship itself, where only 6 teams from Pakistan will be selected, the top 6 teams. But along with that, to motivate them, is going to be $100,000 on the line. Shadow.
That's actually $100,000, a very big prize money that is on the stake. But even if you qualify for the SA Championship, every single team is going to get something. The first place will get $10,000, second will get $6,500. Even the 16th place team is going to get $1,000 US, and the MVP is also going to get $1,000 US. But in the league stage, every single team is getting $25. But how they are going to get so? By earning those points. First place will get 15 points, second will get 12, third will get 10 points, fourth will get 8, and it keeps on reducing. And 8 to 12 is somewhere you don't want to end up, because you get a single point, but 13th to 16th you get 0, not at all.
Exactly, and that is something that these teams are going to have to be very careful about. And of course, this now again, these teams, they already understand the pressure that they're at. Along with that, of course, right now we're talking about 20 teams that are participating, but only 16 will move into the grand final. So that also is a very big stake for these teams to be able to participate in. And well, again, they've got these 3 days, in fact 4 days, today being day number 2 of week 3.
Well, certainly, they have very numbered games and very numbered days left. They have to prepare, they have to propel themselves in the overall ranking. But right now, the team that is sitting very comfortably on the top is Magnus Esports with 592 points, and followed by I8 Esports on second position with 553 points. Courtesy to the performance of I8 Esports of week number 1, they are still managing to be in the top 2 position despite having bad games in week number 3 and at the end of week number 2 as well. But Quantum Rage was sitting on the third spot with 410 points.
Absolutely, and that again is looking very comfortable for the side of these teams. But you see the drastic change that we are talking about. From the first to the second, we've got Magnus Esports and I8 Esports respectively. But then from that onwards, the difference in terms of the chicken dinner itself, and look at Quantum Rage sitting on that third spot with only 2 chicken dinners, but the amount of points they've been able to accumulate. So again, that clearly showcases the commitment that Quantum Rage had, also at the same time the consistency that they played with.
Well, certainly, consistency is the key, and that is missing from the teams who are in the bottom. That is going to be TmwEsports 52. Finally, they have started jumping up, and Triple Esports also showcased some good performance from their side at the end of week number 2. So let's see if they can carry forward the same thing. But right now they are on the bottom, the later half, in the danger zone specifically to be said. And 40 Devils also sitting on the 17th spot. Metershot Sky, yes, after that hat trick, this team has also started fizzling out. They are sitting on the 16th spot with 273 points.
Absolutely, and this is something that we spoke about in the previous day as well. There, of course, you see that difference. Now, again, we mentioned it right now itself, viewers, that only top 16 teams are going to move on into the grand finale, where from only 6 teams will be able to participate and, of course, represent Pakistan in the SA Championship. Now, that difference right there was clearly visible. I mean, you got 273 points compared to 233 points between the 16th position holder and the 17th position holder. So, yes, it is a big climb, but it is definitely possible in the next 4 days. But we'll have to see if they are going to be able to do it or not.
Well, certainly they have to try and give the best. They have to fight with all the tooth and nail, because that's the only week left in their hands. If they are not able to perform this time, they have to wait for the next season and qualify for that, and then compete again with these teams and try and qualify for the SA Championship. So this is the week that is going to be very crucial for every single team. But talking about the team that had high expectations, I8 Esports. What do you think? What's going to happen with I8 in this week? Are they going to come back again much stronger, or their struggle will continue?
I really do hope that they are able to transform their gameplay and themselves as well in this final week 3 right here before we jump into the grand finale itself. But right now, talking about the schedule, we are going to be starting things off on the map of Miramar. Their Group E, to start things off, will not be able to participate. So there are 4 groups, A, B, C and D, that will be participating in the first game itself for the day.
Well, certainly Group E will be sitting out, but the groups that are competing, they will be playing in the map of Miramar. Then again, Sanhok, the game changer map, is going to come in. Like you said, Group D will be sitting out. Then again, Miramar. This is the day of 3 Miramar. So that clearly showcase the teams that have a strong foothold in the map of Miramar. They are going to dominate the lobby, or at least they are going to be very happy in day number 2, because this is their day. 3 Miramar, it's their map, so better earn as much points as many as you can.
Absolutely, and the best part about that, Shadow, is the fact that when you talk about the map of Miramar itself, right, we know that in the loop, in the entire pool of things in esports of PUBG Mobile, we know that it is the most biggest map, right? So it kind of allows the teams to take a stand back, and then peacefully get themselves moving across in the game, and that itself makes a huge possibility of other teams to be able to work towards those late rotations, to be able to work towards getting those points for themselves. If nothing else, then just placement points itself, which is going to be a critical key that they're going to have to transform in today's game and today's, of course, battleground from.
Certainly. But now, Lakshay, is the time for the prediction. Which team do you think is going to get a win in this one?
You know what? This time around, I'm going to go with you. Whatever team you choose is the one that I'm also going to pick. And hopefully, we both get one up in terms of our predictions.
It's a gamble. Big gamble you're playing.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see again.
Okay.
I really want to be able to get those numbers up. But same for you as well.
I want to go with Star. I don't know because the way they showcase performance in week number 2 in the map of Miramar, they have missed the winner chicken dinner multiple times, but every single time they have been in the spot. So I want to go with Star.
All right, then Team Star it is. Team Star it is. Director from both of our sides, and hopefully to start the day off, they are going to be the ones walking away with a perfect chicken dinner on the map of Miramar, where of course we're going to be starting the day. But after that, it is Sanhok. So yes, I really do want to be able to see Team Star walk away on that chicken dinner and give us those points that we really need right now.
Now you're worried. Now you're worried. If
I
that
am.
four will I
Yes,
know it.
I
I
am. A
know.
little bit. A little bit.
But if you talk about the performance of Star in the map of Miramar, they have got the third highest point right now. Week number
True.
1 was entirely not in their favor, only 59 points. But the way week number 2 they started showing in the map of Miramar specifically, I think they need to get a win also because right now they have only a single win. That was also in the week 1 match number 3. After that, Star has been very consistent in terms of the points they have gathered Miramar, but not a win, not a impactful performance that highlight that yes, Team Star is dominating Miramar, but they definitely deserve the second win.
Definitely. I mean, nothing taken away from that. Exactly like you perfectly mentioned, right? On the map of Miramar, this team has been very consistent. But at the same point of time, when we are talking about the statistics like that, then I will also bring up teams like the Grounder, who are steadily on climb when it comes to the map of Miramar. Yes, their performance itself, like you perfectly mentioned for Team Star, same is the case for the Grounders as well, as their performance has gone down. But if you compare it from week 1, it is definitely on the rise. So yes, there are a few other teams that can be mentioned on the map of Miramar, but overall, you perfectly are on point when it comes down to that prediction, because you talk about consistency. Now, Team Star has been consistent, especially on the map, right? The other team that I'm talking about, or any other team that people might even think of, TFT and others, they are at times able to get those points and then at times not. So yes, talking about consistency, Team Star definitely is a wonderful pick for this prediction.
Well, I hope they get a win also because the drop they have in Miramar is not so easy, but they have managed to survive with those teams surrounding them. They have managed to find a space inside the circle with those perfect rotations that come from their side. So yeah. But talking about the other two teams that have been dominating Miramar, one of the name is Magnus. Magnus has been very consistent when it comes to Miramar. We can safely say right now in this event, Magnus is owning every single map, especially Miramar. The way they are consistent, so Magnus definitely they also have a very strong chance.
See, if we talk about Magnus, then at the same point of time, I think it's only fair to even bring up a team like i8, right? If you remember week 1, when it all started, when the entire journey started for the season, PMPL for these teams in Pakistan, we saw from the side of i8 a little bit of a falter in terms of how they were approaching those fights, and they quickly realized as to what was going on wrong, and they changed that perspective. Now, in this being the final week, as we've been talking about it, there's also an expectation that, of course, i8 should be able to climb up again, because these are the two teams that are creating a ladder of their own when it comes to the points that they've accumulated, Magnus as well as i8.
Certainly, Magnus have 4 wins in the map of Miramar. i8 also not far behind. They have got 3 wins in Miramar. But like Fixes was also pointing out in the end of week number 2, maybe the top teams like i8, other teams, maybe they are second guessing themselves because of the momentum they have lost. Maybe they are second guessing all their decisions, and that is why they are failing to perform, because they went for a split, then they decided to go for the late rotation. Every single time, all the plans are failing. So maybe they need to go back to the basics and stick with the basic plan they had week number 1.
Exactly, and that would be the best thing. But at the same time, again, when you talk about these esports players, we know that it is not an easy task, right? To be that consistent, it is not easy. To be able to every single week, every single day, every single game, back to back to back, be able to get those points consistently itself is not an easy task. And that is where i8, yes, they've created that name and they are definitely on that rise. But is it going to be possible right now in week 3 where it matters the most? Again, we know that they are already qualified to be a part of the grand finals because only top 16 teams are going to move on forth. But yes, I do understand that conversation of, second guessing, because it's definitely not an easy thing wherein you in week one were able to dominate and dominate in such a stature that no other team were even close when it comes to the points. And then afterwards, of course, all the other teams understood exactly what I8 were doing, and that's the reason why we see a little bit of a downfall from them.
In fact, in week number one, I8 was the team with the highest points in Miramar.
Exactly.
They had the highest points in every single map, be it Miramar or be it Erangel. No team was anywhere close to them. Yes, Magnus was there, but the point difference was still way too
Oh
much for
yes.
Magnus to cover up.
Exactly, and that is exactly where I draw a line between how I8 played in week one and now what is happening between them, and thus brings in the conversation, as you perfectly mentioned, that Fixes did point out as well, that yes, there comes a stage where the teams and the players start second guessing themselves, and that is something that we saw from I8 in week one, but they were able to overcome. And now, of course, the expectations from, of course, us as well as the fans is going to be that they should be able to rise once again in this final week where it matters.
Well, certainly. I think I8 they are going to get one win at least this day. This day they are getting
Hopefully.
one win. Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed.
I'm not going to jinx him.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
I'm not
We will
going to
not. We
jinx.
will not do
No.
that. But with that, of course, we do have the map as well as, of course, the flight path on our screens. And of course, this is going to be a very critical day for all these teams, as we've been mentioning again and again, viewers, where, of course, the 16 teams that are playing right now, the 4 groups that are playing right now, well, they're going to have to deliver their best gameplay, because this week, if they don't, then they will not be able to participate in the grand finals. And with that, Shadow, what are we looking at? The Grounders, they've only got 3 members from their team.
If memory serves me right, the last time Grounders, or maybe it was some other team. Oh, it was Regicide and
It
yesterday,
was,
day number
yes.
one. Yeah, Regicide. They also showed as a 3-man squad and they had a very good outing in that particular map. In fact, that was also Miramar. So maybe Grounders are following the path of Regicide right now.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that'll
The
be
number
a
three.
possibility.
No, I'm just joking.
No,
Because
but still, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Because I remember making a joke out of this as well earlier, where one team were only participating with a 3-man army, and they dominated. They
yeah,
dominated in class, in style, in terms of the way they were able to complete the game, and also, in fact, walk away with a chicken dinner. I'm talking about a different season altogether. But we'll come back to all of those predictions and possibilities, because right now, as we talk about the zone itself, well, it is going to be towards the southern side, where we, of course, still do have the players of I8 moving towards Los Leones, which is their home ground. On the map of Miramar, no other team wants to contest I8 in their battleground in their city. But well, let's see. Let's see. Perhaps this being the final week before the grand finals, there could be a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a change that we can anticipate. But at the same point in time, talking about early contestations, talking about early eliminations, for now, I don't see many teams around each other to be able to cross paths and get that first blood situation converted.
certain. The first blood might happen somewhere on the southern eastern side, but this particular circle opens things for so many teams who are on the bottom. I8. They are not on the bottom, but they are struggling. The entire Los Leones and the southern area of Los Leones, and the northeast coast not being in the picture right now, the entire area is up for the grabs. They can head over towards the complete southern side on the shorelines or the docks area, anywhere that is completely open. Even H2E also, this kind of a circle is definitely going to favor their position because they have dropped towards the side of Los Higos and the prison area. They can gatekeep the plus of Team BABLU. Also, TUF also in the Chummas area. So that means this game can be in favor of so many teams who are still struggling. Triple Esports also, for the fact they are still in a good position, but all the teams that are trying to come from the northern side might give Triple Esports a problem because with Triple Esports the problem has been their aggression, never the position inside the circle. It's always the aggression, over aggression. They always tend to overextend the fight. That is where they kind of start fizzling out. And let's see if they have rectified that mistake because right now Grounders and 3x Esports are lurking nearby them, not exactly nearby them, but somewhere on the northern side.
Well, you're absolutely correct when it comes down to pointing out how Triple Esports have been performing and underperforming at the same time. But perhaps this week being the most important one, there will be a little bit of a difference that can be seen from them. But at the same time, as we talk about teams, of course, this is just the 4-minute marker that we are part of in this game. And in that itself, we do have Quantum Rage on our screens, where, of course, Quantum Rage, they had a little bit of a crosshair, but at the same time, they were almost 2,500 meters away from the zone itself. Now, this is something that teams are going to have to be very careful about, right? Because Quantum Rage is towards the northern side. Now, they need to start getting those vehicles in their control and then make that rotation. The earlier, the better. If not, then again, things are going to get, like you perfectly mentioned, very, very difficult for the teams making a late rotation.
But certainly, late rotation or early rotation, that's a decision of the IGA. And whatever they decide, in the end, all the four players should be in the safety of the circle. That's the target. But talking about IA, they're still holding on to the Los Leones. TUF and Triple Esports might head for a collision the way they are in the close proximity. So let's see if the fight is breaking already inside the circle. I think it is, because Thug has spotted down Thor over there, and he has dished out a little bit of the damage, but not significant damage to take him down. But where are the teammates of the Thor? That's the main question, because I think he's all by himself right now.
Exactly. Now, for TUF, this is going to be a critical conversion, because after all, at the same point in time, when it comes down to the team of Triple Esports, well, again, they are all as perfectly synergized in this fight as they can be. At the same time, for TUF Thor, it was unexpected to have been caught out in the open like that. But again, the capitalization that could have been anticipated from the side of Triple Esports, that's also missing at the same time, right? So, as you perfectly mentioned, Shadow, when it comes to Triple Esports, we've seen them over-aggress. Now it seems in week 3, they have slowed their roll a little bit, which is a good thing, of course. But we'll have to see if the conversion from them can still be there in terms of the first elimination that we want to be able to see in this game.
Well, they have certainly controlled their aggression, but TUF, their problem, last day on day number 1 was the split that was coming from the side of TUF. Even in the final circles, when they had the best position, the split they were having was not working in their favor. That is where they started losing out on the points. And this time again, they are in a split position, and Thor, yes, he needs a backup as soon as possible. Plug are in the close proximity, but not enough close that if he gets taken down, a revival or rescue might come in anytime soon. So TUF needs to stick together like the players of Triple Esports are doing so right now. Even the position of Joker Sir, I think, has already been revealed, and Reeks with the M24 beautiful shot takes Joker Sir down.
Well, what a perfect conversion right here. Of course, it is going to be none other than your selection itself, where Team Star is the one who seems to be able to capitalize and get that first blood situation converted. But again, they have taken a knock. So a trade has been taking place between both these teams. And oh my word, Regicide is the one who is going to be able to capitalize in this fight. And it seems like Team Star, even though I genuinely thought they should be the ones walking away with these points, it seems Castor's curse once again comes in real shadow, where Team Star, they are falling down like flies. This is unbelievable. The amount of control and the aggression that Regicide is showing right now, and the precision in all of that, where Team Star's numbers are dwindling down, and it seems like our hopes of getting that point are lost now, Shadow.
Well, certainly, because a single player getting a win in the map of Miramar with 16 teams and 60 players remaining, it's not so easy. The odds are definitely not in the favor of Team Star, but let's see. Maybe their lucky stars in their favor, but right now Thor is the guy who needs a help, because Joker Star was taken down. He has already been revived, but he needs to heal up really fast, because with this HP, he can't help Thor over there. And Virus, well, he has his vehicle ready. Let's see what's going to happen, because all the players of Triple Esports, they still have their eyes set on to Thor over there, and it's not going to be so easy for Thor to make an escape from that particular situation. The little bit of the ridges are still helping him out.
Exactly, for now. And again, in all of that, the best part, or the worst part, in fact, the way you can look at it, is the fact that for Triple Esports, the over aggression that was showcased from them is now under control. And that in turn is actually allowing TUS player to be able to keep his life alive. At the same time, the grounders are the ones, as we were talking about it, as we were mentioning in the pre-game segment itself, that the grounders have been able to dominate slowly but steadily on the map of Miramar. Well, now it is clearly evident that yes, they have a decent hold of Miramar map. But at the same time, we spoke about this earlier. They're only a three-man army. Being a three-man army also has not deterred them from taking fights and, of course, converting that into a point for themselves as of now.
Certainly, Grounders, they also have two win in their favor in the map of Miramar. So, yes, they know this terrain very well. This is one of their strong map. Week 1 was not in their favor, like you also pointed out. Week 2 was still in their favor. So, let's see if they can turn week 3 also in their favor. Right now, majority of the teams are trying to go for the rotation from the side of Graveyard, where the players of TmW are present. They can easily gatekeep, at least get some defeat points in their favor, because all this commotion they can do a third party. They have the safety of the compounds for themselves. On the other side, Magnus, well, they have Quraysh Esports and Metershot Sky right on their tails.
Exactly. Now, again, look at the number of teams that are making that late rotation right now from the Blues, right? There are so many teams. Now, as soon as they get into the zone itself is going to be constricting. As we can see in the top right-hand side of our screens, 35 seconds, 30 seconds more, and the zone is constricting. That means all the teams that we just saw making that late rotation are going to have to further move on in towards the zone, wherein again, I was just about to point out that Team BABLU, H2E could be the ones who would be able to capitalize, but it seems like from the south, where the zone, of course, is favoring these two teams, it is none other than Team BABLU who are sadly at the receiving end. They've already got 2 knocks. Zibian and Pan are the only 2 players that are up and about, and again, it does not seem like it's going to be an easy task for them to give that revival to their teammates.
And H2E, well, they need every single point in their favor and they're capitalizing on it. They're picking fight with a team that was known to own this
Wow.
particular map, and right now they are falling down as Dani has already been confirmed. So that means Team Bablu right now is surviving with the only single player, Zibian, if I'm not wrong, or maybe 2 players. Yes, 2 players are
2
still
players,
there from the
Zibian
side
and
of
Pan.
Team Bablu, and they let us split Lakshay. One of the players is still in the periphery, the other player is in the middle of so many teams.
Wow. I mean, I'm super impressed. Again, we were talking about it in the pre-game segment itself, right? When it comes down to week 1, where PMPL Pakistan started, it was a different attitude in terms of the way the teams that we were able to see. We got TUF, we had I8, who were phenomenal in terms of the way that they were able to approach fights and convert those into points. But now, in week 3, things have changed drastically. Where Regicide, of course, alongside that, we saw the Grounders. Alongside that, we saw H2E are the ones who are dominating those fights, who are able to understand their opponents. And with that, Quantum Rage, of course, is always going to be part of that picture. As we mentioned in that overall ranking itself, they have only 2 chicken dinners, if I'm not mistaken, and still sitting comfortably in top 5.
But certainly, Quantum Rage and both those chicken dinner are in the map of Miramar also. So Quantum Rage, the way they are opening things, 1 defeat point already in their favor. But the main thing, how they are going to avoid all those teams that are in the close proximity, because right now they have to move inside in the circle. And the way the teams are performing day before yesterday, were performing day before yesterday. Every single team is trying to squeeze in the center of the circle, the epicenter, from the very get go of the game. And maybe Team Regicide is also trying to do so, but right now they have to deal with the players of Quantum Rage, and TmW is on the close proximity. R3D is also there. The moment they are going to hear those bullet sounds, maybe they will try and do a third party.
Well, talk about third party. It seems like TUF definitely have found their target in the name of H2E, as in they are the ones who are taking down the players of H2E. If nothing else, at least knocking them down. With the same, of course, we just saw the zone has already constructed and moved itself towards the western side. That means the players of I8 themselves are going to have to now transfers to get into the comfort of the zone. At the same point in time, on our screens, of course, is going to be none other than Regicide. Now, this team, well, again, they have a perfect opportunity right now to be able to get those points for themselves. They are a little scattered, but again, they have an understanding and they have awareness as to where their opponents are. Same is the case for Quantum Rage. But the biggest factor in this fight is going to be that blue zone that we can see towards the top right hand side. And 10 seconds, and it has already started moving. It is going to be engulfing both of these teams if they are not swift enough.
Well, certainly they have to fight with the blue. They have to fight with the time. And when you're fighting with the time, you tend to lose. And both these teams need to realize they have to prioritize the circle. Otherwise, the circle is going to punish right now. So, Esports, the team that impressed in everyone with the performance in day number one. Let's see how they are going to fare off in this one. Because right now they are on the periphery, somewhere the side of Picado. And they have the players of TmW also in the close proximity, which they have an idea about. They have already have that information that TmW is lingering nearby. So the path of rotation is a bit changing, and if they are going to continue to do so, if they head completely towards the western side, maybe they will be rewarded with the potential position.
Well, we'll still have to see if that'll be the case or not. But yes, definitely, all eyes are going to be favored towards 52 Esports because of, like you perfectly mentioned, the gameplay that they showcased. Alongside that, the fight that we were a part of, Quantum Rage against Regicide. Quantum Rage have decided to move on ahead and, of course, focus towards the zone as they should, as they have to, because more important is to be able to survive in the zone and then take on fights. If you end up capitalizing or not capitalizing on the way the zone is shifting, then automatically you are going to be part of that blue zone. And this, of course, is only the third zone. But had they waited, had they stood around to take on that fight against either side, then it could have been very, very difficult and tricky for them to be able to convert this game for themselves. At the same time, here we do have the Grounders, again, a three-man army, taking on players, taking on shots, and again, they are in control of a compound. This is looking very versatile from the side of TG.
But certainly, three players, they have a compound, a good position inside the circle, like you pointed out. They have the information onto the opponent team as well, and the information always comes handy. Be it any map in the Battle Royale, all you need is the information, the intel on as many teams as much possible, which they have already gathered. But the only thorn for them is going to be the loss of H2E. But JD has already taken a lot of damage from the side of CU. He needs to heal up really fast. He's bleeding out. He needs the revival, and the way Assad jumped in to revive his teammate, this is an opportunity for Grounders over there to capitalize and take down the players of Team H2E. But do they even know that a rescue mission is going right now?
Well, again, the Grounders, I just wanted to say that they should not overextend, but we can clearly see that they are overextending a little bit, where we did just see Mr. Black as well as Sensi trying to overextend and get those nades against the players of H2E. Now, H2E, JD, as you perfectly mentioned, has been able to give that revival, but at the same time, now it's a 4v2 conversation, 4v3 conversation, my apologies. And in that, the Grounders are definitely at a back end. And look at that, the Molotov from Siu has brought himself down, where indeed his entire team was relying on him because he was the forefront of this fight. But now they have given a chance for H2E to be able to push on forth with, of course, the 4 numbers advantage that we just spoke about, and perhaps even capitalize. But again, it's not too late, because the Grounders still have an opportunity to be able to convert this into a decent fight for themselves, if nothing else, decent point for themselves. But alongside, we do see that Team Star is the first team to get eliminated. So, Shadow, it seems like next time I'm the one who's going to be choosing in terms of our prediction.
I already told you, you should be the one going for the prediction.
I spoke about the Grounders. Oh,
It's okay. They are
it's all good.
Yeah,
They are
Grounders
also
are
good.
also gone. But on Grounders, they could have chimed in when the revival was going on to JD, because that was the moment
True.
when H2E was in their weakest state. Instead, they choose to be silent. But right now, IA, they are opening things onto the plus of Metershot Sky.
Well, at the same time, we of course do see that Uzum from the side of I8 has already been lost to the cause in this background. At the same time, the fight definitely continues on forth, but keep in mind on towards the top right hand side of the screen, where of course I8 as well as Metershot Sky's position, they are at the edge of the zone. Whoever wins this fight will be able to join into the zone and then push on forth with the next remaining teams and the next zone that will be upcoming. For now, it is looking like an equal playing battlefield between both of these teams. In fact, more so I'll say towards the favor of Metershot, but at the same time, we are losing out players and teams, where of course Quantum Rage gets eliminated on the 14th position. Alongside all of that, Metershot Sky are the ones who are in charge, who are in control, who are definitely trying to dominate against the players of I8. And talking about I8 itself, it seems like they're going to be eliminated. They're going to be eliminated on the 13th position with a zero, mind you, zero elimination points. This is unheard of from the side of I8, but it definitely seems like the weeks have gotten over to them, and their position and their gameplay has drastically changed, and sadly, it's just not working for them.
Bit overconfident in that fight because they were fighting against the side of Metershot Sky. They were picking fight in the open. There was no use of the throwables coming from the side of I8 at all, which could have saved them in that particular situation. But still, I8, Team Star, Quantum Rage also, Regicide, the teams that were having a good performance in Miramar in the previous week, they have taken an early exit. That is something I'm surprised to see. Even the name Quantum Rage, I didn't expect Quantum Rage to get eliminated so early, but right now the way TUF, they have information onto so many teams like Quraysh Esports, Triple Esports is also in the close proximity. This is the moment when TUF needs to prioritize the circle. Otherwise, if they engage in this fight right now, maybe things will go south, but only time will tell. I can just predict.
That is so very true, of course, because right now, these teams, the best and the worst thing that has happened to them is, of course, the zone moving away. Now, the zone moving away has, of course, pushed itself towards the western fronts of this map itself, where the rotation that we were talking about earlier is what is being questioned right now from these teams. The teams that rotated early are looking very much favorable, but at the same time, the ones who tried to rotate late are the ones who are getting caught off guard. We have the grounders going down. H2E has been, since the start, been one of the teams that has been, of course, bringing in the elimination points for themselves. But now it is going to be focused on which team is going to find themselves in the center of the zone at the same time towards a compound. And the compound that we can see right now, of course, this is all in contestation. Quraysh Esports, right in front of them, is going to be TUF.
Well, certainly, and split of TUF the players are having. This is something I was pointing out. TUF is always having those major splits. Right now, they're still covering each other's back, but if they increase the split, things are not going to work in their favor. But right now, Edgar, he has eliminated the entire team of Quraysh Esports over there. A very good gameplay coming from his side, but right now he has to deal with the players of Triple Esports. They have to make sure Triple Esports doesn't breach into the compound, and Thor also has to leave that compound because the circle is already closing in. The blue is already dishing out a damage onto Thor as well, and Thor just survived that grenade.
Wow, what a play. What a play. Again, you were talking about TUF. You know what? You should have gone with your gut, because definitely the way things are going on right now, it definitely seems like TUF is in a very good contestation to be able to, in fact, capitalize in this fight. But at the same time, from one fight to other, we move on towards the final player of course, BABLU. But moving away from that, we do have Thor once again taking down the players of course, Triple Esports. One by one. What a perfect spray that was. And just like that, TUF is going to be able to eliminate the players of Triple Esports, as we are left with just only 7 teams remaining in this first game of the day.
7 teams, 22 players, and Magnus Esports, they were pretty silent up until now, but now they are in the periphery of the circles. Somewhere they have to deal with the plus of 52 first, and Hawk has already been taken down from the side of R3. That means Destroyer is the last man standing, and out there in the open, he's fighting with the plus of Magnus Esports, and Faster will be the one who will eliminate the entire team of R3D over there. With that, 6 teams, 19 players still remaining, and Magnus, they are trying to eliminate the side of 52 esports so that they can have more control of the real estate and the circle as well. But 3x esports, they have control of the western side right now.
Well, definitely. And of course, the zone itself is slowly but surely constricting. And that in turn is only going to be capitalized from one team. And that one team, for now, it definitely seems like is going to be none other than 3x. But we'll have to see if they're going to be able to convert that into a fight for themselves, into a game, into a battleground for themselves or not. At the same time, of course, there are big names that are still remaining. We've got Magnus, we've got 52 Esports, who has definitely been on a climb, on a rise. H2E, from the starting of this game, are the ones who have been able to bring in a behemoth amount of damage and destruction into this game. But can this team of H2E capitalize on this, of course, chicken dinner situation or not? We'll have to still see, because only 19 players are remaining. 6 teams in total are alive.
The 6 teams are alive, and the way the players of H2E are falling down to the hands of Metershot Sky, they're picking the patty in the sandwich between all those teams because they have grabbed so much attention, and so are the players of TUF also. The little bit of the depth TUF is holding is not gonna help them for very long because the height advantage is in the favor of Ash OP of Metershot Sky and H2E. I'm worried about them, how they are going to survive and come out from this situation. Yes, the smokes and the little bit of the ridges are helping them right now, but the main priority is the race. They need to revive all their players right now as soon as possible. But Ash, he overpeaked, and right now he has been eliminated with that meteor shots by bits bye at 6th position.
Absolutely. With that, now in contestation is going to be the players of Magnus Esports as well. They are a three-man army. Yes, they've already lost on Drawlin, but they are in control as far as the northeastern side of the zone is concerned. But again, you talk about the zone itself. So many teams are in contestation. So many teams have control from their own individual angles. But we have to still see which one will it be that will walk away with the chicken dinner. As of now, of course, as we were talking about Magnus, they have their eyes set up towards the players of 52 Esports, and 52 Esports players are going down like flies. They're only left with just a one-man army. That's going to be none other than Pharaoh. And at the same time, the Oro aggression for the side of Magnus has been taken care of from 3x's Mary.
Certainly, and teams, all these 5 or 4 teams in the circle right now, it's only the Magnus Esports who have a win in the map of Miramar. All other teams, they don't have a single win right now in the map of Miramar. So maybe this could be the first win in their hand. But right now, let's see, Magnus, they need to move inside the circle. 3x, they're still on the periphery. They have a hard compound for themselves. So things, the odds are still in their favor. And amongst all this commotion, H2E has managed to keep all the players alive,
Exactly.
barring one. They have gone for the race, and this is going to favor the situation, their case right now, a lot.
Definitely, most definitely. Again, I'm very astonished by the way H2E is playing in week number 3, definitely. But at the same time, now again, in front of them is a very big competition. They've got 52 Esports with only a 2-man approach, but at the same time, we know for a fact that 2-man army can also convert a game into their own side. At the same time, Magnus Esports is one of those teams that has been very consistent in terms of how they're able to, of course, approach the fights and convert those into points. And as we can clearly see, they are damaging the position of 50 Esports. Joker, the final player remaining from the side of 50 Esports, and Magnus Esports is definitely on top of it. 50 Esports, they are getting surrounded from both the directions. From one side, it's 3x. From the other, of course, we do have Magnus. In all of that, the best position in this area, of course, is favored towards 3x because they have the compound, they have the knowledge of where the other teams and players are, and they have a perfect aggression streak that's going on in their favor.
Certainly, but right now, like you perfectly mentioned, H2B, things are working in their favor. The depth, everything is in the advantage situation right now, and they're taking multiple fights with the plus of Magnus as well. 3x also knocking down players on the both fronts, and they're trying to not overextend the fight. That is something working in their favor. But look at Miracle, the way he's crawling his way towards the side of Magnus Esports. One grade or a Molotov can turn things around for the players of Magnus Esports, but finisher, being the brave man with that vehicle, is already going for the position inside the circle, and Miracle is trying to dish damage onto the side of Magnus faster and his teammate.
Well, now is where things change for 3x Esports, because again, they need to move in towards the zone. As the zone has moved away from them, they had the comfort of course, that compound. Now every single team knows exactly where they're at. From the side of Magnus, of course, we do have finisher on our screens. Alongside, of course, him is going to be none other than Knight. Well, Knight goes down. At the same point of time, for 3x Esports, their opportunity to be able to move into the zone is now finishing slowly and surely, because at the same point of time, it is going to be H2E and Magnus who are the ones who know exactly where their opponent is, and thus we do have Magnus getting eliminated. H2E, a team that from the starting of this game has been in contestation, has been on top of the aggression. Now it seems like are going to be able to easily dominate against 3x and their compound to be able to walk away with a chicken dinner.
Well, certainly, and Tarzan right now he's wishing if he had few throwables, but courtesy to his teammate Dread, he has those grenades and the smokes which he's trying to use to his advantage against the side of 3x. Tyrant is still bleeding out, and H2E with two men, can they suppress the plus of 3x? I think they can do so because they are trying to do so. Tyrant, there is no chance of a revival anytime soon because Kratos first needs to heal up himself, and the smoke is not helping their case too much, and Tyrant has already been eliminated. That means Miracle is the only player who can do something for his team because Kratos on the other side, W will be coming in, and H2E, all they have a little bit of the airdrop as a cover.
Dread, what are you doing? You saw exactly the player. All right, there we have it. There we have it. Again, it was a very chaotic battle that took place right here. But again, in the end, it seems like, well, 3x Esports, the ones who were out in the open, who had the zone moving away from them, are the ones walking away with the chicken dinner this time around. Now again, like I said, it was a chaotic ending right there. Things could have gone better, but again, it is 3x Esports who are the ones who will be able to reign in supreme, at least for this first match of the day, and get their chicken dinner converted. With that, 7 eliminations to their name, and of course 22 points in total.
So certainly 3x Esports, they are already in a good spot in the overall ranking, and these points are going to help them to stay in the good spot. But on the other side, yes, H2E did impress everyone with the performance from their side, the way they were picking multiple fights on the side of 3x and Magnus Esports also. But what happened wrong with the side of Magnus? Because they had the numbers, they had everything, but we'll discuss all of this after a short little break. You guys stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2 of week number 3 of PUBG Mobile Pakistan Pro League Fall 2022, brought to you by Oppo and Lakshay. 3x Esports finally getting a win for themselves. They missed it on day number 1 in the map of Sanhok, but they get it in the map of Miramar on day number 2. So 3x Esports, yes, this is going to help them because right now, after day 1 standings, they were on the bottom somewhere.
Exactly, and of course, as we were talking about it, it is a very critical week, it is a very critical day for these teams, and of course the fight right now is to be able to be in the top 16 so that you can participate in the grand finale. And the grand finals itself, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be starting from the 30th till 2nd of October. But right now, talking about the MVP, it's going to be none other than Kratos with 6 eliminations. That is ludicrous amount of aggression being showcased from his side, and of course that in turn resulted in the team walking away with the chicken dinner.
Certainly 3x Esports got a win for themselves, and along with Kratos, it is going to be Edgar from the side of TUF. He single-handedly eliminated the entire team and 4 eliminations to his name, followed by JD of the H2E and Tarzan of H2E, and Magnus Finisher always in the players to focus with 4 eliminations to his name. But I'm impressed by the way the players of team H2E were playing.
Definitely. I mean, nothing taken away from the side of H2E in terms of the aggression, in terms of the way they were able to control the fight in their favor and get those points. Again, that's the reason why we see them sitting on the first position right now in the match ranking, where of course the elimination point that we spoke about earlier is what is helping H2E from the starting of this game itself, where indeed 12 elimination points along with the placement points converted is going to be 24 points in total for the side of that team. And look at the difference. I mean, total points 24 compared to the team sitting on the second that walked away with the chicken dinner. That's going to be 3x Esports with 15. That is a stark difference that H2E showcased from this game.
Certainly, there is a big difference in terms of the points, but Magnus Esports, they are placed in 3rd position with 17 points. TUF again having a good performance, sitting on the 4th position. But I8, Quantum Rage, Metershot Sky, there are big names Quraysh Esports. There are big names who were taken down pretty early in this particular game of Miramar. So, well, the top dogs are not dominating this time.
Exactly. I mean, in week 3, it seems like a complete turmoil being showcased through the top dogs that were, again, at one point in time, top dogs in week 1. Because right now, we just clearly saw in this highlight itself from Oppo F21 Pro moments that BABLU were the ones who got dominated against. I8 were the ones who were fizzled out very easily and very early on. Team Star being another one of those big names that was just not able to bring in the consistency that we had expected from their side. But again, this is what week 3 is offering, and this is what Pakistani lobby has become in week 3, of course, because they've they've realized and they've understood and they've changed their gameplay based on the teams that were overperforming from week 1.
Certainly. Talking about the damage graph, the teams that were dishing out the majority of the damage were 3x Esports, H2E. H2E was able to convert that damage into defeat points as well. Magnus Esports close to 2000 damage. They have been dishing out, but only 7 defeat points in their favor. On the other side, TUF also dishing out 1559 damage with 10 defeat points.
Absolutely, and look at that from the other side. We have a big names like I8, Quantum Rage, who were eliminated a little too early. Now, nothing taken away from them because, after all, when it comes to the overall points they've been able to accumulate, they are looking comfortable, definitely in the overall ranking. But at the same time, we want to be able to see the kind of consistency that is being showcased from the side of Magnus. But again, that is what this battleground offers. At times, you are going to be able to get those points for yourselves. At times, it is going to be stolen away from you, like it happened.
Certainly. But talking about the overall ranking, so let's see which team is sitting at the top after this map of Miramar after a total 6 matches. It's still Magnus Esports with 68 points, but H2E, they have taken a jump of 5 points and they are sitting on the second spot with 59 points.
Absolutely. What a perfect play this was from H2E. 5 position jump coming in their favor. At the same time, yes, there is also 3x Esports sitting on the 7th position with 8 position jump from their side for week 3 right now.
Certainly, but in the bottom still we have R3D Esports, TUF, and the Grounders, 3x Esports. Not in the bottom of the first page, but in the overall bottom we have Faulty Devils and I8 Esports, Team BABLU, Koti Esports. These 3 names no one anticipated or expected to see in the bottom, but they are in the bottom. So let's see how they're going to propel themselves in the overall ranking and come on the first page. But Triple Esports this time in week 3, this team is performing because right now they are in the 11th spot after taking a downfall of 3 points.
Indeed. And with that, of course, those big names that we talk about are underperforming in week 3. But at the same time, let's move on ahead and move on towards the schedule, where now for game number 2 of the day, we are going to be moving towards Sanhok. There indeed, Group D is not going to be participating, but we know that A, B, C, and of course Group E is going to be playing their first game right now.
Well, yes, Quantum Rage, Team Ground, Regicide, 3x Esports, a winning team. Well, they will be sitting out in the map of Sanhok. And with that, the question comes in, Lakshay, also the prediction time. Last time you went
Yep.
with me. You want to repeat the same mistake again?
Uh,
Say no.
you know what? No.
You
What
know
we'll do
the thing.
this time around, what we'll do, Shadow, is
Okay.
we'll let our director choose. We'll let our producer choose as to
Huh.
what team does he think should be able to walk away with the chicken dinner this time around on the map of Sanhok.
He
Let's
is
see.
not
Whatever.
predicting.
Well. Oh, okay. This is going to be a
Maybe
tough.
he is. He's secretly predicting. Maybe.
Um,
Hmm.
this is going to be a tough one. This is definitely going to be a tough one. For Sanhok, definitely, I want to be able to see Quraysh or Quantum Rage walk away with a perfect chicken dinner for themselves. All right, so I'll give these 2 options, and then the producer can decide as to what exactly does he want to pick. How about that?
I'm still waiting for the producer.
Well. Again, he's gonna have to decide. It does not seem like he wants to decide. All right, so we'll go with Quraysh. I am gonna rather go with Quraysh Esports. What team do you want to pick for this
Sam, I'm
prediction
going
this
with
time
you.
around on the map of Sanhok?
I'm going with you. I want to turn the 1 into 2.
All right. Then let's go with Quantum Rage actually. Then let's change that Quraysh
I
to
was,
Quantum Rage and let's go with Quantum Rage then.
I was actually thinking Quantum Rage. I was about to pick,
Yep.
but when you said Quraysh, I was like, okay, let's go with Quraysh only. But yeah, Quantum Rage, yes. Yeah.
Definitely. That is going to be the one that we are going to be predicting and selecting for this upcoming game, of course, on the map of Sanhok. And along with that, of course, the producer has decided that he's not going to choose this time around, but next time he will. But at the same time, viewers, this is where you join in and you can let us know as to what team do you want to predict. And that team should be able to get that chicken dinner. You give that message in the chat, and of course, that'll be showcased right here from your side. Right now, again, fingers crossed though, Shadow, fingers crossed.
Not gonna jinx.
Exactly, because
I
it
predicted
honestly is very
Star.
difficult. It is so very difficult. From week one, every single time when it comes down to the desk, we are all based on how statistic is going to be working towards every single player, towards every single team. But now in week 3, all those statistics are chaotic. It's just a complete khichdi that's taken place right now, right? And that is very difficult to be able to understand that what team should be the one, can be the one that'll walk away with chicken dinner.
There are so many other factors also, like the circle, the position inside the circle, which team is dropping where. Yes, the drop
True.
location are mostly the same, but the rotations, the curveballs as the circle throws. A minute you are confident, this is our game to win. This is our game to lose. But the next moment, the circle takes a curveball, and the safety of the compound has already been gone away, and the circle is few thousand meters sometimes away from you, and that is where you
True.
have to travel, and maybe someone will take you down. So there are so many other factors also.
That is all on point. That is definitely all on point, and it is a very difficult conversation to even have, because after all, therefore it's called a prediction, right? Therefore we are anticipating that this team should be able to bring up their gameplay and walk away with the chicken dinner. But again, Pakistani lobby, it is so very awesome to cast being a part of this, at the same time chaotic, because you just don't know how things are going to turn out, and they are so very well versed in terms of how they change and understand what they've done wrong to be able to then move on ahead in the next game itself and make things better for themselves. So that is something that I'm definitely elated about from the Pakistan region.
Yeah, you mentioned Pakistan region. Yes, the change as compared to week number one. Week number one, you used to see the teams drop in, and the minute they used to drop in, there used to be a first blood, and fight after fight was happening inside the circle. But now, in week number 3, they have understood the gravity of the situation. They have taken things very seriously. Initial first few circles, we don't get to witness too many fights as compared to week number 1 now.
True. That is very true. That is something that, again, is, like I said, it's a high praise to these teams and these players themselves, because they're able to understand what's wrong and then change it and improve it and showcase it within a matter of, 14 days. That is perfect. That is exactly what we need, because we spoke about this. Only top 16 teams are going to be part of the grand finale that starts from 30th September till 2nd of October. After that, only top 6 teams are going to be able to participate in the SA Championship. So we, of course, want to be able to see the best of the best teams, the teams that are dynamic, the teams that are able to, change their gameplay to be able to make things better for themselves, for their fans. And of course, this is what we're looking at from this Pakistani lobby, which is, again, like I said, a perfect opportunity for all the other regions, in fact, from the world itself, to be able to look at and perhaps even learn a few things from.
Well, certainly, and talking about the Sanhok, the map that is going to be there, in week number 1, we were talking about from Pakistan region. We don't think we'll get to witness a heel battle, but we did see a heel battle in the previous Sanhok. So, do you think this time also there will be a player or a team that will be going for a heel battle this time again?
Oh, definitely. Because again, we've spoken about this. This is week 3. This is the final week before the grand finale itself. So there are going to be players, there are going to be teams that will always have that as a backup approach, especially on the map of Sanhok, because it works out. It is a small map. The rotation isn't going to be that much. And automatically along with that, when it comes down to the heel battle, it actually does help you out, because if nothing else, you're able to walk away with decent amount of placement points. So you want to be able to participate in that. But let's see which team is it going to be this time around. I definitely do believe that there will be one or two teams and players who are going to be working towards it, but which team, I have no clue.
And talking about the team also, in other regions, we did get to witness in every single team there is a dedicated particular player that this player will be the one who will be going for the heal battle. From
Right.
very start, he start get collecting those 4 states in the mid kits. But in Pakistan region, do you think the teams have a dedicated player that this player is going to go for the heal battle, or it just comes with the situation demands?
I think no, definitely in every single team there is always going to be one of those players who is going to play a safeguard approach in the battleground, and that of course is something that when it comes to the Pakistani lobbies itself, the Pakistani teams themselves, yes, I'm sure that there is always that one player that will always be there. We've seen that happen from so many individual teams. I'm not going to name names and players, of course, right now, but we have seen that happen in the past because I've been casting this region for the past 3 years now. So I have seen that happen, but at the moment, I know that all these teams, or in fact, I shouldn't say I know, I would rather hope to be able to see all these teams bring in their best element and showcase their best fight in the background, especially, of course, on this map of Sanhok. Because if you're able to get into those third-party situations, if you're able to get into those fourth-party situations on the map of Sanhok, you've got the opportunity to walk away with so many points. But let's see. We'll find out as to if at all there'll be any heal battles or not. Shadow.
Well, I think there is going to be, like you also said, because this is week number 3. Every single point is going to matter right now. But talking about the flight path, this time the flight path is going from the side of Hatin towards the southern side of Kampong. That means teams can pretty easily pair a drop in their favorite drop location. And we have been seeing there is no such change when it comes to drop location. Every single team is sticking to the basic drop from the very first day of week number 1. TFD going for the Camp Alpha Island over there with a split drop, but they need to be a bit careful because in Hatin you have Esports as well.
Indeed. Let's see. Let's see where exactly is the zone going to be formed on this map right now. Of course, when it comes down to the drop locations themselves, as you perfectly mentioned, yes, the teams are very accustomed to their comfortable spots. But this time around, as we talk about the zone itself, well, interesting turn of events, and honestly, I would love to see this zone go towards Camp Alpha, actually, towards the northwestern side of this map.
You want TFD to win. Because maybe H2E also, because they are also on that particular island, and the
True.
way H2E is playing, they're running high on confidence as compared to Faulty Devils.
Exactly, they've got the momentum in their favor, but at the same point in time, we've got North Esports, a team that we know they the way they get those points for themselves and the way they walk away with those chicken dinners that we've seen, they are a very cheeky team. You need to be very careful of where NES is, and they are towards that side. So we have a possibility of perhaps even North Esports walking away with a chicken dinner. But with that, this time around, it seems like last time we chose Team Star as the predicted team to walk away with the chicken dinner. This time, they are the ones who are going to be starting off, or rather trying to at least start off with a first blood situation for themselves. The first elimination of the game could have been seen from their side, as they were able to, as we just saw, they were able to spot TmwEsports players. But for now, no knock has been converted from them yet.
Certainly, no defeat point, no has been earned from the side of Team Star. But right now, Star, they have many things in their hands, because the way the circle is, they have to cross paths with any of the teams, because majority of the teams either they are in the Paradise Resort or somewhere around Paradise or the shorelines of the island, and Team Star present in the cow. I want to see how they are going to make those rotation inside the circle, because in Sanhok it may look like the team is a little bit far away, but the players are very close to you. The moment a fight breaks in, anytime a third party can happen, anyone can spot you down any moment. But right now, TmW, this is the team that needs the safety of the compounds, because Reaper, well, he's running out in the open.
Absolutely. And again, as you perfectly mentioned, right, when it comes to the map of Sanhok, as we were talking about it in the pre-game segment itself, it is a small map. So automatically, whenever you've got a fight taking place, whenever you've got shots that are going to be around in the vicinity, automatically any other team is going to know where that shot came from, or where in basic direction where that shot came from. And that itself is a huge opportunity for teams to be able to capitalize upon. And with that, of course, right now on our screens is going to be T20 Corey, where Khan is going to be able to capitalize on this perfect fight. And in doing so, there is going to be a trade between these two teams. In fact, the trade actually favors Triple Esports, where now it all falls down towards, of course, T20 Corey as to how exactly are they going to be able to retaliate, because now it's a 4v3 situation. As we saw Rex go down, he will be given a revival. His teammate was right around the corner, and now it all boils down to T20 Corey to be able to get this point, get these kill points confirmed for themselves.
And Voltrex, being the supportive player for his teammate, fallen comrade 420 boy, managed to take down one of the players of Triple Esports, not letting the players to go for the defeat point. Now Hunter is the last man standing from the side of Triple Esports, and Voltrex with that M416 is going to put the final bullet in his head, and that means one team has already been eliminated. That is going to be Triple Esports. Voltrex will go for the race onto 420 boy over there. Although they lost Khan in the process, but they managed to get 3 defeat points in their favor. That is a fair trade in the map of Sanhok, because you need those points, defeat points. And Quality right now, they are in the epicenter also. So that means they are in a good spot. They don't have to go for too many rotations. And I can already see there is an airdrop also in the close proximity.
Indeed, this was definitely a good trade for T20 Corey. They only lost Khan, but of course, like you perfectly mentioned, walked away with 3 defeat points, 3 elimination points for themselves. But now that fight and whatever took place on that hill has been heard from their opponents from the side as well. The best part, again, you perfectly mentioned, Shadow, is that they are in the center. So they have the comfort of that, but they need to find a compound. They were up top on that hill. They need to find a compound. The sooner the better. At the same point of time, again, you talk about the zone itself. Well. This is only the first zone. Now the zone is going to be constricting. Like I said, I would love for it to actually change and go all the way towards the north western side towards Camp Alpha Island, and that would be a big difficulty for these teams to make that rotation for. But we'll have to see where exactly is that taken, where exactly is the zone going to be taking the fights in this battleground. At the same time, we can see that Magnus Esports are taking shots against the players of Metershot Sky. For now, it does not seem like knock has been converted from either of them, but they're definitely in close vicinity and proximity. And we'll have to see as to who will be the one who will get that first point converted between Magnus and Metershot. At the same time, we can see that for the side of QE, they're only joined in with a 3-man army this time around.
Split in Sanhok, we don't usually see too many splits between the players. All the 4 players try and stick together. It is usually Team BABLU from their side. We have seen some orthodox split. This time also 2 of the players in Sami, 2 of the players are there in Painan. So let's see what is going in the head of the IGL. If they're trying to put pressure on between the teams from the 2 different directions, maybe that could be the reason. But let's see if everything is going to be executed the way they planned. But right now, like you also pointed out, Metershot Sky, they have an idea. There is a team present in front of them, and Khatir, he's already leading the charge. He has his back covered by Ash, his own teammate. When it comes to Ash, he's usually the scouter from the side of Metershot Sky.
Exactly, and we've seen that from Ash and VP. He's the one who's always pushing forth and getting the understanding of where the opponents are and how the team should be able to rotate, and that is something that is definitely commendable for him. But at the same time, this time around on the map of Sanhok, we'll have to see if that is a commendable thing, opportunity or not, because we know that on the map of Sanhok, there's always those third parties and fourth parties that do end up taking place, and no team is actually prepared for that. Like for now, we can clearly see on our screens we do have TmW, but at the same time, R3D is Anubis. He's already got his crosshairs set up towards TmW, which TmW I'm sure is not even anticipating or predicting to get fired upon from this angle, and that is what makes Sanhok a very risky map to play. You can walk away with a lot of points. At the same time, if you're over aggressing, you are definitely going to fall down quicker as well, because the other teams can bring in those third parties and fourth parties that we just spoke about.
can't be more risky than Leavik. These teams have played Leavik.
That is true as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they are kind of prepared. Maybe that could be the reason we are getting to see those heel battles from Pakistan region in Sanhok, because before Leavik there was no such thing happening from their side. But right now, like you also pointed out, R3D, yes, they have spotted on the plus of TmW, but they are mature and smart enough to not pepper any kind of bullet in their direction to give away their position. Because look at the split of R3D. They are in a split situation trying to gather as much information, but on the other side, Team Star is opening things up as Sultana gets a perfect headshot and a confirmation onto Maxi of Northeast Sports.
Absolutely. Now, this is happening from the northern side, from the north of this map itself, where we did see the players of NES, and of course, towards the eastern side was Team Star, where they were perhaps trying to make a rotation and they were able to get a trade off between both of those teams. Along with that, of course, on our screens, we do have 52 Esports, a team that has been doing fabulous for themselves in week number 3. But right now, let's see if they're going to be able to convert this fight against the players of BABLU, as BABLU's players are already, of course, split up, like you perfectly mentioned earlier as well. They've got a two-man split going on, so we'll have to see if they can convert this into a point for themselves, or if they let the players of 52 Esports to just walk on their own way.
The circle. I want to see the circle, how it's going to pan out, because most probably the circle is going to be on the southern western side. The next circle after this, that means a split from the side of Team W can be in the favor if the two players somewhere in Nakhan are able to bring the final players inside the circle as well. But from the height advantage, the mean is the one who is knocking out the players of Team Star, who are out there in the open. God Fury has already been taken out, and from the back lines, Amir is also dishing out a damage. And with that, Team Star, they didn't anticipate this at all, and they have been eliminated by the plus of North Esports. What a perfect synergy and coordination.
What a perfect fight, definitely, definitely. And they were so aware. And along with that, of course, now the fights have started taking place in the 11-minute marker. Quraysh Esports, a team with only a three-man approach, are the ones who are going to be stopping down the players of FS, making a rotation. Now, that in turn is, of course, going to be fizzling out the aggressive streak that we wanted to see from the side of Freestyle as well. But again, for FS, the only thing they can do now is recuperate and, of course, make this position as safe as they possibly can. For Quraysh Esports, they're only a three-man approach. So perhaps for them, the best part would be to not over-aggress. But it seems like Quraysh Esports are the ones who are better equipped and prepared to take this fight against the players of FS.
But do they have the numbers? Because all I see in the minimap is Hasni over there, and the numbers are the plus of Team Freestyle. A perfect grenade comes from the side of Vati, takes them. Hasni is also done, and with UMP 45 comes the confirmation as well. And Quraysh Esports, Sardarji has also been eliminated. That means Quraysh surviving as a two-man army. In the whole process, Team FS also lost Mom2, but 2 defeat points in their favor. That means Mullet needs to be a bit careful because he is a little far away from his teammates right now.
Well, this is looking very risky. Again, it's only 12 minutes in, and the team of Quraysh Esports with just a three-man army has gone down to a one-man squad. We've got only 14 teams remaining in this, and now we have the opportunity of that third party that we spoke about, where, of course, on our screens we can clearly see 52 Esports are the ones who can perhaps capitalize from this hill against the position and players of FS for now. As you mentioned earlier as well, they are a little scattered, and this in turn could very well be factored in favor of 52 Esports. At the same time, we do have TFT taking on shots and fight against the players of H2E. I was about to mention that for H2E, when it came down to the zone, it was favoring them. But now it seems like they are at the receiving end. Let's see how exactly are they going to be able to battle out against the players of TFT. But on our screens, of course, we do have Freestyles players as well, as they try and bring out the over-aggression against I8's rotating team. But sadly, they themselves take a loss, as they have already lost Mom 2, and one of the players has already gone down, and the team that they were, of course, aggressing upon is I8, who have now pushed on to their compound. From the backlines, it's going to be none other than IQ, and in front, we already saw the over-aggressive streak from the side of I8, which in turn is definitely going to be a very difficult conversion for FS, and there we have it. I mean, no conversion was at all needed or required to even think about, because FS have been eliminated thanks to that Molotov and that perfect utilization of information and utility.
Well, they were not at all prepared. FS was not prepared for this fight. They didn't anticipate the players of I8 Esports to rush towards them. And yes, the smokes and the molotovs didn't give them a chance to do anything. And perfect synergy coming from the side of I8 Esports. The way the player IQ was giving a cover fire from the back lines, the players rush towards the compound. This is something we wanted to see from the side of I8. But right now, 52 Esports, well, they are also in close proximity, but they are silent. They are not picking up too many fights. All they are prioritizing is the position inside the circle. And this, with this circle shift, it is Team Quirty and Team TUF also who have a good spot inside the circle.
Oh, they definitely do. This is looking very good for T20 Query. Definitely. They have a perfect position right there. But we'll have to see if the numbers disadvantage that they have because they've lost Khan is going to be able to favor them or not. At the same point of time, you talk about other teams that are going to be rotating in towards this area. Well, you are going to be talking about, of course, Quraysh Esports from the south. You've got Metershot Sky from the eastern side. And, of course, in the center, for now, in terms of the numbers advantage, Magnus Esports definitely seems to be the one that can also capitalize in this entire fight if they themselves do not get overpowered from R3D.
Well, certainly, because R3D can be that ugly thorn for the players of Magnus Esports, and not just Magnus, for the side of Quirty as well, because Quirty needs to pick fight very carefully. They need to isolate the fights because if they start picking multiple fights, maybe they will start fizzling out because they have a golden position to go for the win. But right now, TUF holding on to the Painan area, they have complete Painan under their control, but maybe 52 Esports can come in and try and take that compound of finance from the hands of TUF. Let's see if TUF is prepared for it or not. I think they are because they have an idea there is team on the opposite side of the hill.
Indeed, absolutely. For now, TUF, they have the safety net of the compound, of course. At the same time, they are aware of the angles and another team approaching them. They are aware of the time itself, of course, because we are now talking about 16 minutes into this game of Sanhok, where we know for a fact that now the construction of the zone itself is going to be forcing the teams to take on those fights. At the same time, we move back towards the players of T20 Query that we just saw a couple of minutes ago on the map itself that are going to be in the safety net and the center of the zone. But for now, they need to be careful. They need to be wary of TmW and their position. TmW have the opportunity, and it seems like T20 Quirty, if they are not careful, like this overextension that we can see from their side being out in the open, can be fired upon not only from TmW, but we also saw Magnus up on top of that hill. And that is where a third party or fourth party can go against the players of T20.
See, Quirty, yes, they need to be a bit careful because we have faulty devils also on the western front, and the western ruins is completely up for grabs for the players of North Esports. That means they are also in a good spot away from all that commotion or the fight. So that means a good spot for North Esports to hold until the next circle forms. In fact, other team that has also made it inside the safety of the circle are Meteorshot Sky, who are in the periphery. But look at TUF from this particular position of Painan, they have got information onto 52 Meteorshot Sky, and maybe they'll get information onto Magnus or as well because Finisher is also in the close proximity of Painan area. If they decide to commit towards the side of Painan, TUF are prepared. They are prepared for those third parties that can happen because already they have all the angles covered. But right now they have to leave the safety of the compounds because the circle has taken a concentric shift and Pine is a little far away from the circle.
Well. Now this is a difficult shift for teams to be able to work towards, because as of now, when you talk about the center itself, right, Painan center itself, there is no team, and in fact it seems like BABLU are the ones who are going to be making that rotation to get into the center of the zone. Now if BABLU is able to do this without any team disturbing them, then they are going to be probably the ones who will have a better chance of converting this game into a chicken dinner for themselves, as the shift that has happened from the zone itself has removed the possibility of the other teams um, And of course, at the same amount of time, as we mentioned, of course, for Magnus, TMW, T20 Quality, it's all gone against them. Now they are going to have to place themselves better into the zone to be able to get this fight working for themselves. And as we were mentioning earlier, R3D are the ones who seem to be now retaliating against the positioning of Magnus. But we saw earlier that for Magnus, the best part is that they are on top of the hill, or they were rather. So that if they can convert that into a position that can perhaps overpower the rotation of R3D.
Certainly, but right now Metershot Sky H2E, they are bearing the brunt of the position in right now because they have started losing out on the players. Ash has been eliminated from the side of Metershot Sky, and in a matter of few seconds, Metershot Sky is surviving as a two-man army, and they're walking in the territory of finisher of Magnus Esports. But on the other side, on the western side, we have North Esports going up against Faulty Devils. As Sad Boy has already been taken down. Let's see if a confirmation might be coming in or not. But R3D is also chiming in and doing a third party onto Meteorshot Sky. Their days are numbered because they are losing out on the players after player. It is only the last player that is standing. Let's see for how long he can survive between all those teams. But right now, Avenger OP on front of our screen taking down Hyan from the side of TmW.
Well, North Esports again. We mentioned this earlier as well in our cast that North Esports teams need to be very, very careful of, and they are approaching from such a perfect angle that any team cannot transverse and create a flank angle against NES. At the same time, look at that. I mean, they are a three-man army. Yes, they've lost one of their players, but they are looking very comfortable with 6 finishes, 6 elimination points already confirmed for their side. With that, we've got Magnus Esports as they take on a fight. At the same time, now it all boils down to R3D as to how exactly are they going to be able to capitalize in this fight. Are they going to be able to get the points for themselves or not? Because for now, for Magnus as well, the point tally is 0 in terms of elimination. At the same point, as you were mentioning earlier, Metershot, they definitely get eliminated. 11 teams remaining in this map of Sanhok, where at the same point, as we were talking about this fight, Magnus has been able to overcome R3D's fight as well and walk away with 3 finish points, 3 elimination points for themselves. But again, the game continues on forth. R3D's final player is still around the corner that Magnus needs to be careful of.
Well, definitely destroyed. Might be going for the heal battle because it's already phase 5 circle. With that, H2Es has been eliminated at 11th position on the western side. Now, on the western side, we have I8, we have Team BABLU 52 also, and away from the circle, we have North Esports, Faulty Devil. So many teams are trying to move inside the circle, and there is only a single compound that is still up for the grabs. If Magnus can somehow come over the bridge, they can get a hold of that very compound and maybe go for the win as well. But right now, Team BABLU, they have an idea onto the plus of Team 52 Esports. Let's see what's going to happen. But because of the play zone, North Esports, Emmer has been taken down, and Zameen might be going for a heal battle. And our 3 last player has been eliminated by TUF.
Absolutely. 8 teams remain, 27 players in total. Team BABLU, they were making a rotation, but it seems like now they are under fire against the other opportunities, against the other opponents that are visible right in front of them. That, of course, are going to be I8's players at the same time, where Blade has been brought down and, in fact, getting eliminated as well. So now I8, they are, of course, caught in the blues, caught in the rotation that they were trying to make, and it is going to be none other than BABLU who seems to be able to capitalize. But all of this will now fall back on towards the players of 52 Esports, who are being very, very careful, very, very quiet. But there we have it. It is going to be none other than Zabian from the side of BABLU, who will be able to start that fire and that commotion against the players of 52 Esports and their position. Now, 52 Esports, interestingly enough, honestly, I anticipated a little bit more aggression from their side, but today it seems a little fizzled out.
The fight, they are on the low ground. Team BABLU, they have the height advantage. They already have an information on the plus of 52 Esports. They were just waiting for 52 to come out in the open, and that is where they started capitalizing on. But still, 52 has managed to keep all the 3 players alive. Let's see what's gonna happen. Can they move inside the circle as well? Because that is the main target should be Team BABLU and Team 52, as next circle will be closing in any minute soon. But beautiful grenade comes in from the side of 52, from the side of BABLU, takes down Pain over there, and 5911. All he can do is go for the heal battle if he has enough first aid in his hand, because 4 first aids go for the heal battle, grab few placement points, but there is not enough time or not enough HP as Blue Zone takes him down as well, and the team has been eliminated.
Absolutely, and with that, we move on towards the players of TUF who are being hammered on upon as they try and make that rotation against the players of Magnus Esports. As of course, it is the Blues that TUF were trying to run away from, but now it's the Bullets that, of course, are catching up to them from the side of Magnus. And of course, you do have Magnus's only final player remaining, who's going to be none other than Roland. But at the same time, he was able to bring down 2 players right in front of us right now. Thus, remaining are going to be 6 teams, and 6 seconds is where we'll see another shift take place. And this is where, again, BABLU, they are the ones looking very good in terms of the way they are able to control this fight. The numbers going definitely in their favor. T20 at one point in time definitely were there in terms of a possibility for them to convert this into a chicken dinner, but it seems like now it's a lost cause because it's only BABLU all the way through. TUF left with only 1 player. Magnus, we saw Drawlin, the only player surviving. At the same time, T20 is only left with 1 player for themselves as well. That's going to be Gravity.
Well, the odds and everything is right now in the favor of Team BABLU. Let's see if they can get this one, and look like they can get it. As QWERTY player, he has a hard compound for himself, but I think his position has been given away to the plus of Team BABLU, who are trying to cross the road from the open area, and this could have been a mistake, but Wolf was able to suppress the last player of QWERTY, but he deployed a beautiful grade, takes on Pan over there, and Zibian with that UMP45, he's hunting for Gravity over there, and but Gravity, he's prepared. Can he take down the other one? He manages to take down the Wolf also. Can he take down the third one also? But no, he can't, as the last player, not the last, Zibian comes in and takes him down, and QWERTY has been eliminated. But what a beautiful gameplay from the side of Gravity.
Indeed, what a perfect play this was. I mean, we were just talking about it, that Team BABLU should be the one walking away with the chicken dinner, but in that fight, the over-aggressiveness that was showcased from the side of BABLU, honestly, just almost got them to the verge of getting eliminated. A 4v1 situation going against them is something, of course, that they're not going to be happy about, but at the same time, they were able to get those points converted for themselves. They were able to get those players, their own players, standing, and of course, they haven't lost on single teammate of themselves. Now it all boils down to Drawlin. With his, of course, UMP, he's going to have to try his level best to take on this fight all by his lonesome. And again, all he can do is push on forth to get those players down. But at the same time, it is not going to be a possibility because a 4v1 situation is almost next to impossible. But again, the way this team of Team BABLU played in that fight, yeah, it could have actually gone either ways, but thankfully they were able to convert that fight into their own. They were able to get the teams eliminated against them, and thus walk away with a perfect chicken dinner. A 6th elimination is what they got in this game, along with, of course, the 15 points that they get for chicken dinner. So 21 points in total, moving up to the 8th position in the overall ranking.
Certainly an unorthodox split coming from the side of Team BABLU, which I question, but a perfectly executed plan, and Team BABLU gets a winner chicken dinner for themselves in one of the not so strong map, that is Sanhok, because that is where Team BABLU was always fizzling out, but now they have already worked on the weak link, so that means Team BABLU is prepared for the strong maps as well. But this win is going to set the momentum for the Team BABLU for the rest of the week, at least I think so.
Definitely. With that, of course, the conversations right here on the desk will continue on forth. But before we can continue further, there is time for that short little break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Well, hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pakistan region of PUBG Mobile Pro League Fall 2022. And my name is Shadow. Alongside me is Lakshay, and Lakshay, Team BABLU finally getting a win for themselves in the map of Sanhok.
Exactly. I mean, we were talking about it, right? The two-man split that was showcased from the side of BABLU. It was a little debatable, but then the best part that worked out in their favor was the way the zone converted and the way they took those fights. They were not over jealous in terms of how the position that they were in could have converted the game for themselves. They were very calm, they were very composed, and that in turn resulted in, of course, the game going in their favor. At the same amount of time, again, it is kudos to the other teams as well because T20 Quarry, yes, it was a tough battle for them. Magnus, it was a tough rotation for them. But in the end, of course, it was Team BABLU that walked away with that chicken dinner.
Well, certainly, talking about Gravity also from the side of Qwerty, he was able to
Exactly.
manage to take down one of the player, took down second one. He was able to take down third one also before the last player of Team BABLU chimed and took him down, put an end to him. But Gravity, beautiful gameplay coming from his side. But one other player who was standing out was Edgar from the side of TUF, being the MVP with 4 eliminations.
Indeed, definitely. And of course, along with that, when it comes down to the way Edgar was able to play for the side of TUF, it was commendable. And of course, you want to be able to walk away with decent amount of, if nothing else, placement points, for which, of course, once again, we are looking forward to how TUF played, and of course, Edgar being right there with the MVP. But alongside that, let's also talk about the other players who need to mention, as we had T20 Qwerty looking very comfortable in terms of the way the rotation worked out, in terms of the way the zone worked out, and that in turn resulted in, of course, Voltrix walking away with 5 eliminations, and of course, Gravity, his teammate, sitting with 3 eliminations off his own.
Certainly, and Rollin and Zibian also from the side of Magnus and Team BABLU respectively being the players to focus on. But talking about the match ranking, this time it's Team BABLU on the top with 21 points and 6 elims in their favor. But on the second position, we have TUF with total of 18 points. Then we have Qwerty with 17 points. Then we have Magnus on the fourth spot. But the team that didn't make any sort of impact is going to be TmW, H2E, Metershot Sky, and Team Star Triple Esports on the bottom.
Exactly. Now, this is where, again, a line needs to be drawn for these teams because, of course, there are ups and downs that Battleground does bring for these teams. But now, with the games that are remaining, the 3 games that are remaining for the day, they need to really showcase their best possible play. If not, then things are not looking good, especially for the likes of course, TMW.
Well, certainly TMW things didn't work out for them in this one, but maybe in the next one can work out in their favor as well. But
True.
now is the time for match number 3. That is going to be in Miramar, and at the same time, it's time for prediction, Lakshay.
Well, again, we'll talk about the prediction, of course, but you know what? When it comes down to TMW, I was just, as soon as I said the sentence, I was thinking about it that yes, today is a Miramar day. That means that there is definitely going to be a possibility for TMW to make a comeback, to make a rise. But before we talk about that, it is, of course, time for Oppo F21 Pro moments, where again, the fights, this is where it all started off from, and Triple Esports were the ones who were in contestation against, again, it was a very close contestation for T20 Qwerty and Triple Esports, but what a beautiful finish from T20 right there. It was against, of course, against all odds.
Well, certainly, even North Esports, they managed to get few good defeat points in their favor. The way they were converged the opponent team from all the 3 different directions when one of the player Ash was having the higher ground, Team Star, they didn't had a chance to realize from where exactly the shots were coming in. But talking about Team BABLU, yes, they managed to regroup, and when they regrouped, they started prioritizing the circle as well. When they had the numbers advantage, they were hunting down the plus one after the other, but still Gravity, a very good gameplay from their side.
Exactly. For T20 Qwerty Gravity, that was a very commendable approach right there. He was able to bring down a 4v1 situation into a 1v2 situation by himself. So it was definitely commendable. But at the same time, we move on towards the damage graph itself. We do have the likes of Team BABLU, who walked away with the chicken dinner, sitting at 6 elimination points, 901 damage. But at the same time, look at TUF. They also got 6 eliminations, but walked away with 1297 points. But in all of that, that's the reason why I mentioned the likes of TMW Metershot. They were not able to participate in fights. They were not able to. In fact, the fights all went against them, and that in turn resulted in a lost opportunity, especially on this map of Sanhok.
Sky, it was all about the rotation, the way they were trying to move inside the circle.
True,
At one
true.
side it was Team Magnus, at one side it was TUF. So many teams were present. It wasn't easy for Metershot Sky to come out from that situation with all the four players alive, because they were getting third partied from so many different directions. So yes, the circle and the position needs to be blamed for that. But yes, talking about FS Freestyle, they did manage to eliminate one team out there, but the another team, that is I8, they rushed into the compound and they were not at all prepared for that fight. But talking about the overall ranking, Magnus Esports, well, they are still on the top with total of 85 points.
Absolutely, and that too without a chicken dinner. That too
Yeah.
without a chicken dinner for the side of Magnus Esports has definitely been a commendable approach from them. At the same point in time, we move on through towards the team sitting on the fourth position with a 5 position jump is going to be Team TUF from this game with 56 points of their own. At the same point, as we move on from first page to the second one, now this is where 52 Esports, yes, week 3 has been perfect for them, but day 2 of week 3, which is today, is definitely looking like a difficult conversion for 52 Esports.
Yes, 52 esports in the Sanhok, they were on the low ground. When you're in the low ground, the only thing
True.
you can do is deploy a few throwables or the molotovs or the grenades that might work in their favor. But the opponent team was kind of prepared. They were waiting for 52 from a last few seconds. So on the other side, 52, they had no idea there is a team on the uphill that is waiting for them. So that didn't work in their favor. But now it's time for Miramar, and Group C will be sitting out. And in Group C, we have Team I8 Esports, Metershot Sky, R3D, and Triple E.
Absolutely. And once again, we go back to the map of Miramar now, for which, of course, as you perfectly mentioned, we are going to be excluding Group C. Now, all these teams, again, they have an opportunity on the map of Miramar, especially when you talk about that Los Leones area, right? Because we have I8 who love to go there, but this time around, they're not going to be participating in that. And that, in turn, allows us an opportunity to perhaps increase one more point in terms of our prediction list. And, all right, so I'll ask you this, Shadow. Do you want to still go with what we spoke about earlier? Do we want to have the producer decide as to what team should walk away with the chicken dinner, or do you want to do the honors?
Let the producer decide. Just to be clear, I'll repeat which teams are sitting out. I Esports, Meteorshot Sky, R3D, and Triple Esports. They are sitting out, and looks like we already have a prediction. Grounders. The producer has picked Grounders.
Oh, well, well, well. You know
And
what?
for
I'm
me,
happy with that
52.
pick. I'm
Mm.
happy with that pick. I mean, okay. 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 I'm not too happy with what the producer has selected for you. Honestly, I'll
I'm
be
happy.
very fair about that. But if you want, you can definitely change, of course, Shadow.
Well, let's root for 52 esports because they need it. The way they have been performing, the way they are trying to take the jump in the overall ranking, I think they have the capability and the caliber to do so. With Los Leones up for the grabs, North Esports is still in the picture. We have to keep that thing in the mind that North Esports is still there. So let's see what 52 Esports is going to do in this one.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. Definitely fingers crossed for the same, of course, because when it comes down to this week 3, 52 Esports, yes, they started off with a banger performance. And of course, I just want to be able to see that same approach carry on in their favor so that the points keep tallying in their favor and perhaps help us out as well as the prediction will come correct. And, well, of course, especially you. But yeah, alongside all of that, again, we fall back on the map of Miramar. Now, to start the day, we had H2E and 3X perform miraculously well on that map. But now, this time around, again, every single time, it's all going to be based on as to where the zone is. And this time around, where do you want to be able to see that zone?
Who is this? I've been requesting PUBG gods. I've been offering them a chicken offering to give me a OSS final circle because I would love to see how the teams are prepared for that kind of a circle, how they are going to play around those ridges, the uphills over there. But let's see. One day, maybe one day, we'll see an OSS final circle.
Definitely. I mean, definitely. Let's keep that hope alive. Perhaps in the grand finale itself, we might just be able to see one of those Oasis, or for you it's Oasis, for me it's Ruins. Either or. would be absolutely brilliant to be able to see when it comes down to the zone itself. But as of now, when it comes to the teams that are going to be, of course, participating in this, we do have BABLU and H2E very, very close. We've seen this again. I've noticed this for the side of BABLU. They keep changing their drop locations from first week itself. They started off in week one going towards Los Higos and Prison Island, and then moved on forth based on how the flight path was. This time around, they've decided to go towards the southern side of course, Minas Del Sur. But let's see if H2E is going to be able to bring in any contestation against the position of Team Bablu or not.
The beauty is that both these teams know how to survive in harmony, exist in the harmony. They are like those neighbors that we are not going to harm you, you don't harm us. We'll meet you in the final circle if we survive, because we don't see H2E going up against Bablu or Bablu going up against H2E. But talking about the unorthodox split, well, H2E has been taking some lessons from Team Bablu, because look at the 2 plus of Team H2E. They are right somewhere in the epicenter of the circle towards the side of Chumotera. Rest of the 2 plus are towards the side of Vale Dilmar.
Exactly. And again, in fact, as you were perfectly mentioning, right? They like to be very straightforward, and also be a little far off when it comes down to those fights. At least that's what we saw from the side of H2E. But in week 3, I'm looking at a completely different H2E. So I still do question as to that same passive approach that you just spoke about can be seen from them or not. And on top of that, of course, is the fact that they've got a two-man split now, wherein normally we end up looking at Bablu making that sort of a split. This time around, they are the ones who are sticking together, and we've got H2E making a split. So let's see if at all there'll be a first blood situation between them or not. At the same point in time, NES, look at how cheeky they are. Once again, proving my point. I8 is not playing. Everybody knows in the lobby, I8, Los Leones on the map of Miramar are one. This time around, of course, I8 is not playing, so therefore NES utilize that opportunity and push themselves, and they're the only ones. They're the only ones who are wanting to at least try that opportunity, try that approach. On the other front, of course, towards the northern side, outside the zone, we still do have a lot of teams that are in close proximity, especially towards water treatment, where we did see T20 Cody, we saw Team Star, as well as Team W.
Well, yes, like you mentioned, North Esports, they are already going for the Los Leones area, especially when I8 is sitting out this much. But we also have Magnus Esports in the equation, and the way Magnus is in the split formation right now, looks like they will be heading towards the side of Los Leones, and they also know that North Esports might be there. But I am impressed by the plus of H2E over there, because yes, initially it looked like very unconventional split from their side, but the way the three players have rotated towards the side of Los Higos by properly scouting the area towards western side of Los Leones. Now in the circle they already have that information. Yes, complete western side of Los Leones is empty. This is going to help us in the further rotation inside the circle. So yes, smart gameplay, smart approach towards the game from the side of H2E. Let's see if they can execute it or not. But TUF also, they have a good spot. Entire Chumasera to them.
Indeed, exactly. And again, one of the best spots for them is that there's no other team around in the vicinity right now, at least, to question their existence, at least for now, for TUF. At the same point, they are in the zone, and from the north, we can see that Regicide have already started making a rotation towards their front. At the same point, on our screens, we do have Quantum Rage's Serious taken on long shots, but sadly to no avail. At the same point in time, he needs to be very careful, because towards the top right hand side, we can see that the zone is 1200 meters away from the side of from the team of Quantum Rage.
Certainly, I'm just keeping my eyes. My eyes on Magnus Esports over there, because they have freestyle, they have
Right.
Star, they have Quraysh Esports on the eastern side. If they opt for a complete eastern rotation, from the northern side, like you mentioned, Quantum Rage is also making their move. So what's
Indeed.
gonna happen? Magnus, yes, they have the capability, they have the caliber to come out from the situation with all the four men alive. But talking about Freestyle and Team Star, how they are going to come out from this situation?
No, in fact, I'll second you in that thought because I just looked at the map and Magnus Esports, they're actually divided. Compared to the players of Freestyle, compared to the players of Team Star, if Magnus Esports' single player gets knocked or eliminated, there is absolutely no chance for a revival story to be even created for them. So you're absolutely correct that when it comes to this rotation, it is going to be a very critical one for both of those teams. And of course, right now we're looking at Team Star. Now, Team Star is in close proximity to where Magnus Esports is. And if Team Star can spot them, then perhaps Magnus Esports can be in a world of trouble for now. But at the same time, again, the zone is going to be favored towards the teams that are down south. In that, there are only a few select teams, and these teams that we're looking at right now, for example, Team Star, the teams that we're talking about, Magnus Esports, they are the ones who are just entering the zone. And with that, it seems like Team Star are the ones who are at the receiving end, as we do have Osama going down. And it seems like Magnus are the ones who have been able to capitalize in this. They are the ones who were careful enough to, of course, be aware of their surroundings. And I was talking about Magnus Esports. Perhaps if one of their players get knocked, then it'll be very difficult for them to get that revival. Now they've changed that conversation, and actually it's Team Star that is at the receiving end. But once again, the fact remains the same that Team Star definitely do have their players surrounding um, them, so the revival is going to definitely be there, but an opening for Magnus Esports has been created.
And look at the way Magnus is converging all the four players of Team Star over there. They are trying to put
True.
pressure from two different directions. The split that Magnus is having right now might work in their favor, but Finisher all by himself, two players of the Star rush towards him, and Finisher manages to take both of them down and get defeat point as well. Team Star, what just happened? It was a 1v2 situation, 2v1 for Team Star.
And look at Magnus's finisher's HP right there. And of course, he did take a little bit of damage, but at the same point of time, look at his vest, look at his helmet. There's absolutely no damage at all being showcased over there. So again, it all boils down to the skill. That is the reason why Magnus is so resilient in the 3 weeks that we have been casting the Pakistan region, right? That is the reason why Magnus has been so consistent because of the skill that is being showcased from their side. And look at that. I mean, 3 elimination points already converted within 8 minutes of this Miramar game starting.
Even in the last match of Miramar today, Team Star took quite some damage in the initial few moments of the game. They were taken down pretty early. The last player survived for a few minutes, but after that, I think TUF was the team that took him down as well. This time also, it's only Hung who has survived, but luckily, he has found a safety or residency in the city of Los Leones. He can go for those position points for now. But talking of the team that is in front of our screen, that is TUF, right? Position is also quite impressive because in the southern side, yes, they have Team BABLU, but they also have the safety of the compounds.
Well, they definitely do. They've got the numbers working for them, they've got the position working for them, they've got the zone working for them. But what they need to worry about is a team that's already moving in with momentum from the previous game, BABLU. BABLU joining them from the southern side for TUF can be a very troublesome situation if TUF is not careful. But
Certainly,
at the
I
same
agree.
point, right? At the same point, I'll also point out that BABLU were overzealous in the previous game that we clearly saw. Gravity actually converted a 1v4 into a 1v2. If BABLU ends up doing those sort of mistakes again, then things can go against them.
Certainly, but also, Lakshay, if you can see, H2E is also in the close proximity of Team BABLU. And H2E is also in the momentum, kind of, because they are having
Right.
good games in their hands. So this is also their drop location, the southern side. This is their familiar area. This is their very familiar terrain. They can also capitalize just like Team BABLU.
Absolutely. Definitely. Definitely. It's just the two-man split from the side of H2E that I'm a little worried about, but you're absolutely on point when it comes down to the momentum and the way H2E has been playing. Phenomenal conversions from their side. And yes, there is definitely a chance of BABLU in that factor, in fact, getting sandwiched. From one side, it's going to be TUF. From the other side, it's going to be, of course, the side of H2E. But right now on our screens, we do have TUF taking on shots against the players of the Grounders. Now, the Grounders started the day off with a three-man approach. This time around, finally, they do have all the four players standing. But at the same time, Sensi, what are you doing? Why are you not looking? Why are you not hearing the shots coming on towards you from the side of Jokoso? And Jokoso definitely is capitalizing on this perfect opportunity where indeed, till now, the point has not been converted, but it's only a matter of time, because you look towards the top right-hand side, the way TUF have got themselves structured, they are looking very comfortable. But in all of this commotion, it is going to be another team. That is going to be FS, I believe. Yep, it is going to be FS who brings in a third-party approach against the Grounders, and all this commotion has actually led in favor of FS, at least for now.
Well, talking about TUF, I'm impressed the way all the four players are sticking together, because TUF is a very capable team, and the only thing that was not working in their favor, the split they were having. The minute TUF goes for the split positions, they start crumbling down. But if they're sticking together, we have seen what Edgar and Joker Sir can do, and with that, Edgar finds a confirmation onto the player of Team Grounders over there. Team Grounders, well, survival at this point is quite dicey for them, because one of the player is already bleeding out. CU is the last man standing, but somewhere else, TMW Kurma with a grenade finds a knock, and the confirmation is well on to Quantum Rage, but Sirius retaliates with a grenade and takes down one player of TMW. Both these teams are fighting on the periphery of the circle on the northern side. Let's see which team is going to come out as a winner, but not Esports Aimer also joins in, finds a confirmation onto Mr. Black with that F24.
What a sad conversion this has been for the side of the Grounders, actually, because they got sandwiched from so many different directions, from so many individual teams, that the conversion for them was absolutely impossible. To be able to even retaliate and get a knock and a point for themselves, it was almost next to impossible. And thus, we do have, of course, the Shaptar, the only final player remaining from the side of the Grounders. Along with that, we can see that the zone has again taken a curveball shift, and this time around, it's going to be favoring the players of, well, Regicide. We do have 3x right around in the vicinity as well. But again, it is too early to even say that one team is being favored, because there are so many teams that are still remaining. And as they get closer and closer, as they start making those rotations, especially if we look towards, of course, the eastern side, towards Los Leones, we have Magnus making a late rotation. We've got Quraysh Esports making a late rotation. We've got Team Stars Hunk all by his lonesome making a rotation. From the north, we've got TMW. So many teams have still not entered the zone itself. That is where the conversion for the winning team is going to get very difficult. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see as to which team is it going to be.
Well, certainly, and right now, North Esports, they have the crosshairs set onto the players of TUF over there, and between both these teams, the last player of Grounders, CU, is still surviving, and he's out there in the open. Maxi has not spotted him down. Well, he's going to get spotted down very soon. The way CU is out there in the open, he'll be spotted down, but somewhere else on the southern side, BABLU are going up against 52 Esports, and trades are coming from both the sides. Let's see if they can go for the raise as well. The numbers advantage is with the players of Team BABLU. Let's see, Dani going for the confirmation or going for the raise onto his teammate. What's going to happen?
Absolutely. For 52 Esports, it is just not their day today, because they are fumbling down. They are taking on the aggressive shots. They were the ones who dominated and started the aggressive stance against the players of BABLU, of course. But in the end, it is BABLU who stood true and tall. And of course, along with that, the biggest factor being that they still have all four players surviving for the side of this team of BABLU. And from this southern direction, they are the only ones. They are the only ones who are going to be pushing on forth.
Well, certainly, because the entire southern control is in the hands of Team BABLU. Maybe it can go in the favor of Team H2E also, who is slightly on the western side, towards southern western side. But TUF also still in a good position. All the teams who are somewhere on the southern side, they have an advantage. This can be their game to lose, but on the other side, in the right epicenter, we have the players of 3x Esports as well. We have the safety of the compounds of Chumasir and are being so silent that their position has not been compromised at all.
Indeed, definitely, definitely. Now again, this is a chaotic zone. This is definitely a chaotic zone because again, if we look towards how the zone itself is shifting, right? There are chances of course, these teams that are going to be towards, of course, on top of the mountains, and that is where the high ground approach will favor them. And for now, it is looking likely to be in control of Regicide. With that, we do, of course, have on our screens shots taking place from the side of TUF as Edgar brings in a perfect spray, but sadly will not be able to get that shot confirmed and will not be able to get a point confirmed for himself and his team.
Well, certainly, but yes, Quraysh Esports are out there in the open, running around, and TUF wants to capitalize. But at least they know there are the players of North Esports as well. And the way Virus is taking a jump, he's going to spot down two players of North Esports. Manages to take down one over there. Can he take down the other one also? But no, Zameen is going to retaliate and will take down Virus and will get a confirmation as well. Now, thought this is the moment when he should capitalize on and try and take down the other player of North Esports also.
Well. The way this fight is going on, of course, TUF should be the one who should be easily able to capitalize in these points for themselves. They are the ones who are taking on shots. They are the ones who are in control of other teams who are trying to get into the zone. At the same point in time, when it comes down to the zone itself, now, of course, Team TUF, they're outside the zone. They are still having to rotate and get inside the zone. But talking about the zone itself, Shadow, we've got H2E looking very comfortable in terms of their approach that they had. Now, initially, I was a little worried about the two-man split, but now it seems like they are the ones who are in contestation of converting this game into a chicken dinner. But at the same time, on our screens, we do have, of course, the four-man army of BABLU taking on shots against the players of R3G for now, as R3G themselves are a little scattered. Their fourth man is jumping in along to be able to create that flank angle. But all of this, for now, again, no one has the high ground. And that, in turn, of course, results in this fight being an open-ended conversation. But the best part, again, for both these teams is the fact that BABLU is moving in with momentum. They've already eliminated one team. We'll have to see if Regicide can do that same or not.
Well, let's see if they are at least hoping to do so, but they also realize there are teams present on the backlines who can do a third party. So Regicide need to be a bit careful. And right now it's a battle of the grenades. Which team is going to lob the perfect projectile onto each other? So that is going to bring in opening out there. And Noki, he's trying in a very wrong direction, wasting the resources. This is where the micromanagement of the resources comes into the picture. And right now, Team BABLU and Team Regicide, they both are wasting away their resources. Team BABLU having 4 defeat points already in their hands, but somewhere else, Thor finds a perfect knock onto Hammer of North Esports. That means the last man standing of TUF. How long can he survive? Because right now he's up for a 1v4 situation, and with that, he has also been eliminated. And TUF bids bye bye to North Esports as 11th position. Now they have to move inside the circle, or maybe they are already in the periphery. So that means they need to be a bit careful of the last player of Quraysh Esports, Jaguar.
Indeed. With 10 teams remaining right now, we've got big names definitely remaining. We've got big names who are in control of the zone itself, but the zone itself is going to be constructing in the next 5 seconds. With that, this fight continues on fourth as we were talking about it. BABLU against the players of R3G, of course. For now, we do have a Pan pushing on fourth and taking on shots against Noki. Now, look at Noki. He's down to a sliver of HP, but still, he was able to convert that into a point for his team. What a perfect conversion for Noki that definitely was. And still, the side of BABLU, they are at a loss. Now they need to be able to, of course, get the teammate revived and, of course, along with that, get the point converted against the players of R3G, where R3G are left with just a two-man approach for now. At the same point, we can see 3X and Magnus knocking horns as well against each other. But in all, the one who will contest and be able to control this fight are the ones who are probably going to be looking better, but they need to be very careful of H2E then, because right now it seems like the answer has been the question has been answered. BABLU is the one who gets eliminated. 8 teams remain, and now it's looking more of a reality and a possibility for the side of this team Regicide to be able to convert this game for themselves, because they are in the zone.
Well, certainly, the odds are definitely in their favor. The position they are having inside the circle is working for them. But right now, Magnus and 3x Esports, they are picking up fight against each other in the fifth circle. Now, Blue is already closing in. And 3x Esports, they have their vehicles ready. But one of the players is still shooting in the direction of Magnus' finisher, who has taken a hefty damage. And look at Mary, the vehicle is about to blow up, and it finally blows up, courtesy to the players of team what over there and team 3x, how they are going to make it inside the safety of the circle, that's the main question, because Kratos is the last man standing. And what's just happening? Magnus Esports then just walked nearby Malik, who was trying to patch himself up. Now he's paying the price, as Malik is going to put an end to Zen over there. Magnus Esports, they are still struggling to find a safety inside the circle, because the minute they have reached the periphery, TUF Edgar is ready for them.
Wow, what a chaotic. Now again, see that is what happens in the battleground, of course, right? And that is something that is the charm of the game itself, of course. And with that, now we are left with only 7 teams remaining, where of course we do have on our screens the fight taking place, where FS are the ones who are trying to contest. At the same point of time, TUF are taking on shots, and they will be, of course, able to eliminate the players, and 6 teams now still remain. Now the momentum that with which FS is pushing forth, they're looking very comfortable from the north. At the same point in time, finisher was so very close, and it seems like he was still not crushed, and it seems he's going to be the one who's going to convert that fight for himself. What a perfect day, what a perfect moment that was right there, where FS, they thought they had the kill, they thought they had the elimination point, but it has been pushed away from them. At the same point, H2E, a team that I was comfortable looking at walking away with a chicken dinner this time around based on their zone, has been eliminated as well, as we have with only 4 teams, and TmwEsports are the ones who have all 4 players. Correction, 3 players now remaining.
Well, 3 players, it can be 4, because Voltrex has not been defeated. He's still bleeding out, so revival can happen in this situation. And yes, QWERTY, they have the height advantage, they have the circle as well. But Voltrex, even if he has been revived, he needs to move inside the safety of the circle. But right now, Gravity is shooting in the direction of Zarbaf of Team Freestyle. Let's see if he can take him down. But no, it's going to be Joker Sir of TUF who's going to steal all the thunder and take Zarbaf over there down. Malik going for the rescue mission. This is a side mission if he goes for a rescue onto Zarbaf, and the blue is already closing in. So that means Zarbaf, well, hard decision needs to be made, and with that, Zarbaf finally bids bye-bye to his teammate, and Malik is the only lonesome survivor from the side of Team FS. Now TUF on the other side, the king of the hills right now are the players of Team QWERTY over there, and Reggie side. Look at the position of Baz over there. He can be that ugly thorn for Thor, who is throning over there in a corner with his buggy, and his position has not been given away at all.
Well, again, for TmwEsports, the game is definitely theirs for the taken. At the same point in time, the other teams, the momentum that they're pushing on forth with is looking very much in control. For example, we have TUF with a 3-man army. They can very well, alright, my bad. It seems like Regicide are the ones who are going to be stopping TUF's reign in this game, as they, of course, do have a perfect king of the hill situation right here, where we can see Regicide dominating against the positioning of TUF, and that 3-man approach from the side of TUF seems to be going down one by one. And yep, there we have it. Of course, another man goes down. They are going to be left with only a single player surviving, and that's going to be none other than Joker Sir. So once again, the possibility of this game is going to be in favor of TmwEsports, where FS is only left with a 1-man squad. Regicide, of course, we do see on our screens, they are getting a revival right there. Noki is getting a revival, but on top of the hill, TmwEsports, they are the ones reigning in supreme.
Well, certainly, Team QWERTY, they have the numbers advantage, they have the position advantage. Khan is already inside the circle with a different position and can relay so much information to his teammates out there. But yes, Reggie's side, they are dominating the lobby. 11 defeat points already to their number, to their name, and right now they have spotted down the plus of QWERTY and picking a fight with them, and the blue is already closing in. That means they have to change the position, they have to move inside the circle, and the trades are already coming in. Both the teams, they have lost one of the player, and Gravity, he can go for the rescue mission onto his own teammate. But on the other side, the last player, Noko, He's prioritizing the circle. Can he made it inside the circle? And the answer is no, because gravity will eliminate him. And with that, Regicide bids bye-bye at third position.
Indeed, with that now, the entire fight is of course single-handed, where we do have FS Malik, but he's the only player surviving against the 4-man army of T20 QWERTY. Now we have seen this earlier. A 1v4 situation can be clutched as well, but looking at the position that T20 QWERTY's players are at, it is almost impossible for Malik to be able to convert this fight and this game for himself. The best thing he can do that's exactly what I was thinking, that go out in the blues and do not give away their point, and that's exactly what he'll do. And in turn, it is going to be none other than T20 QWERTY walking away with a perfect chicken dinner for themselves, with 7 eliminations, pushing on to the 6th overall in the overall standings, 22 points in total from this game.
Certainly 22 points and 7 elimination to their name. That means in the overall ranking they have grabbed the 6th spot for themselves, and it's a very good spot to hold on to. That means QWERTY, they are finally getting back in the game, and the way they are performing, let's see how they're going to perform in the remaining games as well. But Team Freestyle also, this time they had a good performance. Team TUF also, they were sticking together. They had few good defeat points in their favor and placement points as well.
Exactly. It was a very, very good game being played from these teams, but at the end, of course, the only team that everybody is going to talk about is the one that walked away with a chicken dinner, and that too with all the 4 players standing. So that, of course, is commendable approach from the side of T20 QWERTY. But alongside all of that, of course, right now we still do have more games remaining. We will stick around as we go on that short little break that you know of, after which, of course, we'll be right back.
Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PUBG Mobile Pakistan Pro League Fall 2022, and brought to you by Oppo. My name is Shadow, alongside me is Lakshay, and Team QWERTY finally got a winner chicken dinner for themselves in the match number 3 of Miramar.
Indeed, and what a perfect conversion that was from their side, as they had the numbers working for them, they had the fights, and they had the position. They were on top of the hill, top of the mountain like we call it, and it all worked out perfectly, beautifully in fact, for T20 QWERTY. But along with that, let's have a look at who the MVP from this game is going to be.
And it is going to be Edgar from the side of TUF. Edgar, the way this guy has been performing today, every single time he's coming in the players to focus or becoming the MVP. If I'm not wrong, it's the second time that he's becoming the MVP, this time with 4 eliminations and more than 1200 damage that he was dishing out. But the healings done is also not so much. That means he was not taking too many shots, but was dishing out damage onto the opponents.
Absolutely. Along with that, of course, we do have R3G's players right here as well, from Vaz to, of course, Shad, with 5 and 5 eliminations for both of them. But alongside all of that, Edgar's teammate Joker was also part of this entire saga, where, of course, he was able to convert 5 eliminations for himself.
Certainly 5 eliminations for him, and Gravity, he has been performing very good along with Edgar. But talking about the match ranking, this time Regicide, they are on the top with 22 points and 12 eliminations in their hands. But QWERTY, due to less number of elimination, they are sitting on the 2nd spot with 22 points. TUF this time on 3rd with 18 points. FS on 4th with 16 points. But Team Star 52, Grounders, Quantum Rage, Faulty Devil, 3X, they are not getting too many points. 3X getting only 2 points for themselves, sitting on 11th spot.
Absolutely. And again, it's a very tough week right here, as we can clearly see, for these teams. They know exactly what's on the line, they know exactly what's on the stake, but to be able to convert the games in the battleground is definitely not an easy task. And that, of course, we can see for teams, it is getting tougher and tougher as they understand each other, as they play against each other from week one. But alongside all of that, of course, this was the third game of the day. We are still left with two more games that are remaining. We've got one Erangel, and then following along, of course, is going to be none other than Miramar once again, as it is a Miramar day. But talking right now about Oppo F21 Pro moments, now this is where chaos started to ensue. I honestly thought that Team BABLU right there could have been the one who could have dominated, and they tried their level best, but in the end, it was R3D that pushed on against them.
BABLU was doing everything to the perfection, but the only thing was they were trying to be over aggressive. They picking so many fights, winning some and losing some. In the end, when you are picking so many fights, you tend to not get that winner chicken dinner for yourself. It was a team that started picking a fight in the end, Team QWERTY, when they had the best position inside the final circle. But Reggie said the moment they eliminated the players of Team BABLU, they didn't stop for anyone. They knew they have the best spot to go for the win, and they started dominating the lobby with the good and ample amount of finishes in their hands.
Indeed, exactly, absolutely. And of course, alongside that, we do have the damage graph on our screens, where once again we see teams that are doing really well, that have been able to, of course, convert this map into their own favor. But at the same point of time, you talk about a negative consistency that we can see from the side of TmwEsports, that we can see from the side of Team Star, Quantum Rage. Things are definitely falling down for them.
Certainly, Faulty Devils, well, after week one post game, they started fizzling out and their misery has been continuing. I don't remember any other good performance from the side of Faulty Devils, but yes, 52 Esports, this week they started showcasing a few good performance, but that is not enough. You need to be very consistent. You have to be in the top 5. We want to qualify for the SA Championship, but in the overall ranking, the team that is definitely going in the SA Championship is going to be Magnus Esports with 95 points right now.
Absolutely, but along with that, look at T20 QWERTY sitting on that 7th position with 6 position jumps from this game. What a perfect conversion it was definitely for T20 QWERTY. At the same point, again, we can also in the same sentence bring up and mention Team TUF and Red Side for their consistent play that is being showcased that pushes them in the top 5.
Well, certainly you need to be in the top 5, but Team BABLU this time I expected much better. Yes, they have delivered, getting a win in the Sanhok, then a good performance in the map of Miramar as well, because in day number 1, Team BABLU along with I8, they were sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard. They were in the bottom of the overall ranking, but they have now taken a jump. But I8 Esports, well, their struggle is not ending. This time also they are sitting on the 19th spot with 24 points. The previous game they were sitting out, but now it's Erangel. Maybe they can do a comeback because Erangel has been their strong point. But Faulty Devils, TmW, Metershot X Sky still on the bottom along with Star.
Absolutely, like you perfectly mentioned, this upcoming game I8 will be playing, so perhaps we can anticipate a comeback story, and especially like you mentioned that it is going to be a map, the Erangel map that will be played right now, so that implies that the possibility for I8's comeback story is definitely going to be real. But along with that, of course, Group B this time around, for the 4th game of the day, they are going to have to be setting out.
Certainly, that means Quraysh, TUF, H2E and TmW, they will be sitting out in this Erangel. And TUF, they had a good run, I'll say. This day they are having a good run, so they are sitting out, nothing to worry about. But the team, the group that is going to be joining is the I8, Metershot X Sky, R3D and Triple Esports. Along with that, it's the time for the prediction, Lakshay.
Absolutely, once again. Alright, so since the start of the day, we've taken on different theories as to how should we predict. This time around, I think I'm going to push on forth, and I want to be able to choose FS this time for their chicken dinner on the map of Erangel.
Well, you're going with FS. I want to go with I8 maybe. Or Magnus.
Right.
I8 actually.
Absolutely, because again, everybody wants the comeback story from the side of I8, as they were the ones who were sitting on top of the leaderboard from week 1 itself, right? And they still are in the overall leaderboard. They definitely are. But when it comes to week 3, the leaderboard is not favoring I8, as they are sitting on the second last position, I believe, on the 19th or the 18th position. So yes, we want to be able to see them get more points. They're sitting on 24 points. We want to be able to see them push on forth from that into, at least if nothing else, the top 10 itself.
Speaking of the overall ranking of the entire total 3 week points we have, I8 they are in a very comfortable spot.
Oh yes.
So they don't have to worry. They don't need that winner chicken dinner or a very good gameplay to make a comeback, because anyhow they are qualifying for the SA Championship. So
True.
I think they won't let, but yeah, they are struggling right now. So their struggle will continue, I think.
Okay.
But I still want
and
I8 to go for the win.
exactly right. I mean, you just said it, and then also you want to be able to predict and say
Yeah.
that this is the team that should be walking away with the chicken dinner in the upcoming game.
Because I want
Alright.
them. I think their fans also want them to do so.
Definitely. No, definitely. Because of course, I want to be able to see that sort of a play as well from their side. Now, again, this is going to be the map of Erangel, so that means again it is going to fall back to the OG map of course, PUBG Mobile, which again every single player that plays PUBG Mobile has started from this map itself. So I really would love to see a military zone itself for the side of I8, so that your prediction comes true. At the same point of time, they give us the masala that we need right here on the desk.
No, I want a complete Northern Circle or a Quarry Circle.
Okay.
Yes, I have predicted I8. I want them to win, but not with the cost of an easy circle or an easy zone. No, not at all. Whatever team is getting that win, they should struggle a little bit for it.
Definitely, I completely agree, because again, you talk about I8, we've seen them make those rotations as well from the southern military zone, and military island is something that is so almost always so far out the zone itself, but still I8 are able to deliver, and that is the kind of performance that of course we want to be able to see in this upcoming game itself as well, the second last game of the day.
Well, certainly in the flight path is going from the side of military base island towards the side of Stelbus. Stelbus circle is also going to be quite interesting. Let's see where the first circle is going to form, and we know for sure which team is going to drop in military base island. That is going to be I8 Esports. Grounders will go towards the side of Primosk, which has been their drop location, and this time looks like team BABLU is also going for the ferry pier area.
Looks like it. Definitely looks like it. Now the grounders, we know they love to go towards Primosk. We know that FS, they love to go towards the ferry pier. But you absolutely perfectly mentioned and pointed out that what exactly is BABLU's intention in this, we'll have to see. But at the same time, talking about the default drop locations, we know I8, they love that military island, Sosnova military base. At the same point of time, we also know that Metershot, they always go towards Novorupnoi. But now we'll have to keep a keen eye towards where the first blood situation, the first elimination is going to be brought in from this game. Now 3x we can see are creating a very spread out zone, and look at that. You pointed out you want to be able to see a northern zone, and there we have it, Shadow.
And looks like the prediction of the previous game might come true this game, because 52 Esports, look at them. They are already heading towards the northern side. That is going to be Stelbur area. They can easily capitalize on that position. Even Team Star would have been happier had they dropped in towards their previous drop location, that is Siverny. But this time they picked the shorelines towards the side of farm, and now they have to travel all the way towards the Siverny, or maybe towards Rozok. But Rozok is going to be full of action this time.
Indeed, this is a tough zone, because we've got at least 20 to 30% of it towards the northern side water line itself, the water shore itself. Now, as it starts constricting, the teams that are going to be making that late rotation, they are going to be in a very difficult predicament. But we'll see how it pans out. For now, again, talking about just the first blood situation itself, there are so many teams that are in close proximity to each other. So the first blood, the first elimination can be brought in from so many of these teams. Right now, we have AAA Esports right next to the position of T20 Quarry. At the same point of time, towards the northern side, we can see that North Esports is also very close. But at the same time, it seems like 3X are the ones going to be starting this battle for themselves in this battleground, where it is going to be none other than Zebian going down from BABLU.
Team BABLU. They didn't loot around the side of Ferry Pier. They have a dynamic drop location. Yes, maximum times we did see Team BABLU going for the North Georgia Pool along with H2E also, but this time they went towards Ferry Pier, and the moment the circle shifted, they decided to go back to the Georgia Pool City area, and that decision is not going in their favor. But 3X Esports, well, they are happy. They're a happy bunch of 4 people because they have got one defeat point already in their favor. They have a good position, having a control of the entire ruins area from where maximum teams will try and rotate in. Now all they need is the resources, the grenades, the smokes, because in these kind of situation, everything is going to work in your favor. A smoke or molotov, everything. You need those resources if you want to go for the fights and grab those defeat points.
Indeed, so very true. Of course, that is. For now, of course, we do have 3X Esports on our screens as they get acclimated with that perfect elimination point that they converted against BABLU, where the shots were taking place against Zebian itself. Now, that was the first blood situation, but after that, of course, this is the map of Erangel, so things do tend to slow down a little, just a little, in the first 5 minutes to 8 minutes. And that's exactly what we're witnessing right now. But along with that, look at the beauty of what PUBG Mobile offers. And the detail. Again, this is the reason why throughout these years, this game is loved by the entire world itself. Because of what it offers. But yes, it is very difficult to be able to, of course, get that chicken dinner every single time it's a battle, and for which this time around we'll have to see as to who is it possibly going to be. 52 Esports from the northern side, they have the control of the zone, they have a very good opportunity. But once these teams from south start making that rotation, then things are going to get a little chaotic, a little difficult, for which we'll have to see as to which team will it be that'll come up on top.
Well, certainly, even the team present in the Yasna, if they go for an early rotation and grab the Sivoni, which is completely isolated right now, they can still be in a good spot. Quantum Rage can be the team to do so, but it looks like it is going to be Team Star because Team Star is also heading for a very early rotation. They might want to find residency towards the side of Sivoni because Team BABLU this time, yes, they lost one of the player if I'm not wrong. Well, at least they were, yes, the Bian was lost in the process,
Yep.
but they have found residency in geographical area. But how is I8 going to go in this circle? Because usually we used to see I8 used to go for a very late rotation, but this time they are already heading for an early rotation.
And they have to. If they don't start this rotation right now, then it is going to get because majority of the zone is towards the northern side. Now that's exactly what we were talking about, that to be a part of this zone, to be a part of this game, you have to be able to get that early rotation done. If not, then things are going to get that much more difficult and critical to be able to convert the game for yourself. But at the same time, I'm liking the approach that TFT have. Now TFT, they love to go towards Milta power, but this time around they got themselves a little fanned out, a little spread out. And it seems like Rafael, along with his teammate from TFT, are wanting to be able to convert that Novorupnoy bridge into a strategic point and, of course, take down Metershot Sky.
Well, they at least they're trying to do so, but maybe Meteorshot Sky, if they get an hint that TFD is going for the bridge block, maybe they'll go for the military base island where I8 is already heading for the early rotation, but somewhere else R3D is opening things up as they find a knock and a confirmation as well onto Sultana. During rotation, Team Star has always lost their players, and this time in the Erangel also they are starting to lose on their players. three players still alive. Can they make it safely towards the Savoni area? Let's see. I think they can do so, but 3D, they are going to be happy. One defeat point already in their favor, and they already have a good compound or a good position towards the northern island. But this time, no one's trying to commit to the city of Rozhok. In these kind of circles, previously we used to see majority of the teams were used to be around the Rozhok city area, but this time it's only North Esports who are also going for a very early rotation. But talking about Magnus Esports, they are still in the Pochinki, and I8, well, they have decided to take the path of rotation from Pochinki itself. That means Magnus and I8, maybe they can collide with each other, but right now things are getting interesting on the Roarupna Bridge area, where, like Lakshman mentioned, Faulty Devils are going for the bridge block against the side of Metershot Sky, and Metershot Sky, they have gotten information. They have already taken damage, and the way Rafe is all holding on to the position, he better be careful because if he gets taken down, there is no chance of a rescue or a revival coming for him. But the main question is how the players of Meteor Shot Sky are going to make it to the other side of the bridge, because Faulty Devils, they are looking quite stubborn in the bridge block. I8 and Magnus, well, they have parted ways. One team is heading towards the aparts area, one team is going, I8 is going towards little eastern side, but Khatir, what just happened? He knocked himself down from a moving vehicle, and Sadboy is going to capitalize on that. And Ash is already on a very low HP, and he'll see what can he do to help his teammate out, Ash, over there. And let's see, Faulty Devil and Meteor Shot Sky. Meteor Shot Sky, well, they have lost few players, but still they have to cross the bridge. And the way the Faulty Devils are trying to converge from two different directions, they are getting a clear view onto Kelsey over there, and Halsey gets taken down. That means Ash is the last man standing. But before Halsey got taken down, he did take down Sad Boy over there, and Ash. Two Ash we have from the side of Meteor Sky, how they're going to help each other. I don't think they can help each other out because they are on the extreme corners of the bridge. And Rafe, I think he has an idea. Courtesy of that smoke, he can get an clear view onto Ash also, and he will try and take him down. But right now, I think he's looking for a better position, and he has already found it on the top of the bridge. And this time, he's being a little cheeky. Instead of using the gun, he's deploying the grenade towards the side of Ash, but he's going to miss the perfect projectile. That means Ash is going to survive for now. And the question is, for how long can he survive? Because Rafe, look at his position, Lakshay. He can easily spot Ash down.
Exactly. What a perfect position. Now, again, we were just mentioning this, right? From the side of TFT, this was a very strategic move to be able to convert points for themselves. And again, it has worked out beautifully because it is Metershot who did not anticipate this, who from the week one itself always gotten themselves from this rotation. And this time around, they did not expect to do this. And that in turn has resulted in, of course, Metershot Sky left with only one man army. That's going to be Ash MVP at this moment. At the same time, TFT, they've been able to convert those points for themselves. Yes, they have taken a knock, but a point has not been given away. And Mirashot, they're only left with a single man. That's going to be Ash MVP, like we just said. And it seems like now he's on the run and he does not want to push on forth from the reply bridge. And it is going to be TFD who'll have the last laugh in that fight at least.
Well, Meteor Shot Sky, this is something they didn't anticipate at all, because from week one, no one was trying to gatekeep them or try to go for the bridge block, but unexpected things happen. That is exactly happening with the players of Team Star, as they lost God Fury as well through the hands of 3X, and Hunk and Osama are also getting shots, but this time it is Team Grounders, Mr. Black, who takes the third player Osama down from the side of Team Star, and Hunk is the last man standing. He has to go for the position points because this time, this particular day, nothing is working for Team Star. Every single time they're getting caught in the rotations. But right now, 3X and Grounders, they are locking horns with each other.
Indeed, I'm trying to understand the same thing as well. For Team Star, they're getting caught off so badly that things are just not working out for them. Every single time that the rotation they try, it's just not favoring them. And now, of course, for now, they still have an opportunity to get the points for themselves. Of course, we do have all the 16 teams still remaining as we move towards the 13-minute mark into this game. But this is where the real battle starts in the background. Because now we just saw that the zone has shifted. And the zone, again, as it was favoring towards the northern side, has already focused itself towards the north. And the teams that made the early rotation are the ones that will probably be able to, capitalize that perfectly. At the same point, when it comes down to the way the zone moved, we've got Quantum Rage who love to go towards Yasnaya, and Quantum Rage find themselves pretty much in the center of that area. For now, we'll have to see if they'll be able to convert that into a fight, into a game for themselves or not. Because from the north, we also do have the players of Magnus Esports itself. I want to be able to confirm this. And yes, Magnus Esports itself is another team that is bringing in a perfect controlled approach from their side from the west.
From the West, Magnus, they have their backs pretty much clear. They are holding on to the periphery. They have the complete control of the western side. But on the other side, Quantum Rage, they are going to be pretty happy of the decision not leaving the main island and go for the early northern rotation. But right now, all the teams, like you also perfectly pointed out, they are going for the rotation towards the Yasnia side, and that is where they are suffering the casualties. R3D Destroyer just survive. Not esports, well, they have the big apartments of Yasna City under their control. That means they can get as much information as much possible on the teams rotating from the open area, and they can get good defeat points from that particular spot as well. But in the epicenter, we
Indeed.
have Triple Esports.
Well, the best part right now, of course, Shadow, is the fact that we're moving towards the 15-minute marker and all 16 teams are still surviving. Yes, we are looking at all the knocks that are still taking place, all the eliminations that are taking place, but all 16 teams are still surviving. Now, that itself clearly showcases the fact that when it comes down to this OG map of Erangel, every single team knows every nook and corner. And that is why the conversion of that elimination of team is looking difficult for now, but not for long. Because as the zone has moved, the teams are already trying to rotate. That in turn has pushed them so very close. Towards the top right hand side, we can see so many teams are in close proximity in this ES9 itself that one wrong angle peak and that could be the end of you and your teammates. Alongside that, of course, on our screens, of course, is going to be the grounders who are in close proximity against the players of Quantum Rage. But in all, 4 seconds and the zone is going to constrict once again. I believe it's going to go down south, and there we have it. Again, it is a chaotic mess. Erangel is always a chaotic mess. In all of this, look at how Magnus is approaching, right? From that western front, there is no team but the only one in purple, that is Magnus, who are in control.
It can be I8 as well if they decide to go for the western path, because right now I8, they are on the southern periphery of the circle. Maybe instead of going for the eastern rotation, if they go for the west, they will be rewarded, because in the eastern side there are so many other teams present. But looks like I8, they have the mind of going from the southern eastern side. But right now Faulty Devils, they are peppering bullets on the side of Reggie's side, and they managed to take down Loki from the moving vehicle. Gets a confirmation as well. Styler, the man from TFD, 5 defeat points already to the side of Faulty Devils. Well, I was complaining Faulty Devils are missing, but now they are showcasing a good performance. 5 defeat points from 16 teams, 53 players are still in the lobby. That means Faulty Devils are doing everything right. But on the other side, Quantum Rage Goku finds a confirmation onto the plus of Reggie side as well.
Indeed, along with that, in the elimination feed, we saw that BABLU themselves are getting hampered on upon from individual teams, and that in turn is, of course, resulting in BABLU's numbers going down. Well, again, the elimination has not yet been confirmed, but yes, the knock has been confirmed. That, of course, is a very big, difficult blunder that no BABLU fan would have anticipated from their side, but that's exactly what's happening in terms of a third-party approach against the players of BABLU. At the same point, for now, on our screens, of course, it's going to be 52 Esports, a team that in week 3 has been looking really good, has been looking phenomenal, but in this day, particularly in day 2 of week 3, things have kind of faltered down for them. But right now, the position that they're in, the compound that they're in control of, the area that they know about in terms of their opponents, at the same point of time, the angles that they're covering, all of it is favoring 52 Esports. They should be able to get decent points from this game, but we will see if that'll be the case or not. At the same point, talk about retaliation. It seems like I8 are the ones who are finally retaliating on day 2 of week 3, where they are starting to now bring in points for themselves. But for how long are they going to be able to push on forth, as they do have, of course, one elimination point converted, and now it is going to be, of course, Ghost, along with, of course, his teammate Uzum, who's going to push on and take down the player of TFT, as Kanae goes down, and slowly but surely from the south, I8 approach into the zone.
Well, certainly, 40 Devils, they realize they can't win against I8 in this situation, and the zone is also gonna close in. So Sad Boy makes the decision of moving inside the circle, and right now he's right in the epicenter, but he escaped one team just to get spotted down by other team. This time, Quantum Rage Goku takes Sad Boy down and gets a confirmation as well. That means TFD 40 Devils has been eliminated. Quantum Rage still in the perfect spot to get good defeat points in their favor, but the team that has not moved a single muscle is going to be Triple Esports, still holding on to the compound and still waiting for the zone to shift, and that is exactly when the rotation will come from their side. But QWERTY going for the complete eastern rotation. Look, even the players of 52 Esports are having a good spot, but Magnus, they are still not committing to the city of Yasna. They're still hoping the circle will go south, and that is exactly where the circle is going to shift, and only single compound in the circle is in the hands of Triple Esports.
Absolutely, and with that, of course, the zone, as we can see, has shifted once again, with 14 teams remaining, pushing them now. Initially, they pushed them towards, of course, the commercial city of Yasnaya itself, and now the zone has moved away to get these teams to now leave their compound, to get outside, and this is how chaotic the zone in Erangel can be. And that's exactly what we're witnessing right now, where indeed on our screens we do have, of course, the grounders trying to take a little bit of a breather and take on a perfect opportunity and points for themselves, but they are a little scattered as they take this fight. They are a little scattered, which is going to make things a little difficult, and at the same point in time, they are at the edge of the zone. They need to be able to move on ahead and leave the safety net of their compound. With that, we move on towards I8, and what a perfect nade that was, as we do have T20 QWERTY's Khan bringing in a perfect nade parade against the players of I8, and I8's one player, Blade, has already gone down. Of course, Ghost is going to be right around the corner to be able to give him that revival, and same, of course, are going to be the teammates, but T20 QWERTY is right in front as well. This is going to be a very tricky conversion for I8 to get that revival, then push on forth against T20 QWERTY, who are already creating flank angles. This is a very critical angle that whichever team between these two is going to be able to hold will be able to make an entry from the south.
Well, certainly on the complete western side, Magnus Esports and North Esports are also locking horns with each other, and bodies are dropping from both the sides. On the other side, Triple Esports finally starting things off. Rex finds a confirmation. Let's see what's gonna happen, because Triple Esports, they have the compound, but I8 Esports, they have managed to keep all the 4 players alive, and they have managed to escape from the situation. But right now, Khan is in front of them. Let's see if they can spot him down, because they are busy, because they have spotted down the players of 3x Esports, and 3x, they are crumbling down one after other. 2 players, 3 players have been taken down by I8 over there. And the last player surviving from the side of 3x Esports. What can he do? He has deployed few good smokes, but I8 Esports, they're already rushing and charging towards him, and Mari is going for the rescue mission, crucial rescue mission, but I think he managed to take him down. I8 player, yes, he did manage to take him down, but Uzm was there for the savior, and he managed to save the day for his team, as he's going to take down the last player of 3x Esports, also down. With that, 3x has been eliminated, and I8 have all the players still in the lobby.
Absolutely. With that, 12 teams remaining, another second, and of course the zone once again shifts, and along with that, another team gets eliminated. The Grounders this time around, with only 1 finish point, 1 elimination point to their name, and the teams, they're dropping like flies now, as we are only left with 28 players in total. 10 teams is what we do have on our screens. We do have North Esports, a team with only 2 players remaining in this lobby. Defeat points have been converted for the side of North Esports, but at the same time, I8 is still present. The comeback story that we were talking about, Shadow, it seems to be real, because this time around, I8, they're looking like they want to be able to control and dominate this lobby. And along with that, in the background, we can see Quantum Rage, Tantanatan was the one who was able to, of course, bring down BABLU's player.
Certainly, now Triple Esports, they are shooting in the direction of I8 Esports, but Khan from the side of QWERTY has managed to keep himself away from all the eyes of the teams of the players present in the close proximity. Triple Esports, they also have to move inside the safety of the circle. Quantum Race, they are going to be pretty happy of the decision of not leaving the city of the Yasnia because the circle is still in their favor, and that is exactly where majority of the teams are also present. So that means a battle of grenades is going to be there, as Rollin from the side of BABLU is holding on to the little shack over there near the C building, and FS or the 4 plus are still waiting patiently on the stairs for the player of 52 Esports to come out and make any kind of a mistake, because they are sharing the same building, the very same compound, and Quantum Rage in the perfect spot to eliminate Dani from the side of BABLU, and with that, Team BABLU bids bye-bye in 8th position.
Absolutely. With 17s remaining now, we are left with only 22 players. And of course, the position for these teams isn't that much, isn't that many. Now, in all of that, I8, a team that I was just talking about who seem to be in the comeback, have already lost on 2 of their players. And alongside that, it is the Blues that is going to be able to catch a hold of Blade and Uzum as they both go down. And of course, in all of that, I8's number do dwindle down as well. The teams that are in contestation right now are the ones who are in their compounds, and that safety net for 52 Esports is working out perfectly. As we can clearly see, they dominate and take on players from the side of Triple Esports, but at the same point of time, the zone has moved away from 52 Esports as well. They are going to have to jump out in the open, but once they do, the other teams are not going to allow them to do so. Alongside that, T20 QWERTY, as we saw the final player Khan go down from their side, as we are left with only 6 teams remaining now.
Well, 16, 17 players still inside the lobby. Let's see which one is going to get that winner chicken dinner for themselves, because Quantum Rage from that position, they are raining death and destruction everywhere. 11 defeat points already in their favor, and right now they have their crosshair set onto the players of Triple Esports, who have a little bit of the hard cover for themselves. And the moment they are going to come out in the open, it's not only Quantum Rage, it's also 52 Esports that is looking in their direction. So coming alive for the players of Triple Esports is something I don't think is possible right now, but Quantum Rage, 52, FS, they also have to move inside the circle as well. How they are going to do so, because the moment they're going to step out in the open, it's not just one team, it's other 2 teams, 4 plus, shooting in your direction, and along with that, Triple Esports as well.
Exactly. It is a very difficult battle, but the best part right here is the fact that 50 Esports, and what a jump right there coming in from Vasi. What a Spider-Man approach coming in from his side as he jumps from one building to the other to be able to get those finish points converted for himself and, of course, his teammates as well. As we do see 50 Esports now, they now need to be, of course, a little bit wary, because now they need to get into the zone, but to get into the zone, they need to have all the smoke wall created, which they are trying. But right next to them, of course, we do have Quantum Rage's players, and of course, alongside that, FS's final player Malik is also standing, and Vasi, they're bringing in their level best to bring out those points for themselves, as we're only left with 4 teams. And the way the numbers are dwindling down, it seems like Triple Esports is the one walking away with a chicken dinner from this game.
Well, because Triple Esports, they were pinned down point. They were on the verge of elimination, and the moment the circle shifted away from the city of Yasnia, things are working for the players of Triple Esports, because all the teams that were sharing the city of Yasnia, they're fighting amongst each other as FS gets eliminated by Quantum Ray. This is opening so many things for the players of Triple Esports, and they're capitalizing right on it, but they need to be a bit careful of Choker's position, as Hunter is hunting for areas of Quantum Rage right now with the Molotovs and the grenades, and everything is barging towards his side. But 52 has been eliminated.
They had a good run. They definitely had a good run. But with that, of course, now it's a done and decided discussion right here, where of course Triple Esports are the ones who are reigning in supreme in terms of the number, in terms of the control of the zone, and then again, right against them is going to be none other than only one player from the side of Quantum Rage itself, and that is going to be Senior. Now Senior, of course, letting go of that Molotov has already given away his information, and just like that, we have a winner for the second last game of the day. It is going to be none other than Triple Esports, a team that needed these points, and they have worked towards it. As you perfectly mentioned, Shadow, at one point in time, it honestly felt like it is impossible for Triple Esports to survive this, but they did. They kept their numbers up, and right now, of course, with that chicken dinner, they're sitting at the 18th position.
certainly 18 spot Triple Esports, 8 elimination, and like you also said, at one point there was no hope for them. Everyone thought Triple Esports is going to get eliminated because it was not just Quantum Race, it was 52 Esports, FS Auto that was shooting in their direction. All the 4 players of 52 Esports were looking in the direction of Triple Esports, but it was a circle. The circle was playing some different game with all those teams because the curveballs that came one after another, the teams were so confused where to hold on to the position, which position to hold on.
Exactly, it was a tough one. And again, you talk about the zone right here on the Erangel map. It was a chaotic one. It definitely was a chaotic one. So many curveball shifts that took place that, of course, put every single team that were in Yasna, that were in Compound, left out to nothing, because that safety net that they thought is going to be theirs and the game could be theirs was taken away from them as the zone shifted away. But with that, of course, the conversation right here will go on forth as we'll go on a short little break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, hello and welcome back to PUBG Mobile Pakistan Pro League Fall 2022, brought to you by Oppo. And my name is Shadow. Along with me is Lakshay, and with that, Triple Esports Lakshay finally getting their first winner chicken dinner in this event.
What a perfect play that was from Triple Esports. The way they converted this game in their favor. Again, nobody could have anticipated or predicted that to happen, but they did so gracefully, in fact. With that, of course, we move on through to the MVP, where Quantum Rage's Senior, again, he was the final player remaining from that of Quantum Rage, and Senior stood his ground for as long as he possibly could. Along with that, of course, 5 eliminations awarded to him as he's the MVP.
Even the IGL, I have to say, Quantum Rage IGL, pretty impressive calls were coming from their side, because when every single team was going for the northern rotation towards the side of Livorni and that particular island, Quantum Rage held their grounds in the city of the Yasna, and so the players of Triple Esports as well. They didn't leave that compound till the circle forced them, and that is what paid Quantum Rage and Triple Esports in terms of placement and the defeat points. But in the player focus, we have Goku also, Spark also of Quantum Rage, Triple Esports, Hunter with 5 elimination, and this time I8 also performed really good, as IQ is also becoming a player to focus on.
Exactly. Oh, definitely. I mean, again, you talk about week 1 and week 2, the way IQ was able to control the fights and the way he was able to create those flanks. I still remember IQ definitely from I8 is a player to be wary of, definitely. But right now, as we push through towards the match ranking itself, again, like you perfectly mentioned, a perfect outing for I8 as they walked away with only 4 placement points but 7 eliminations. So the aggressive streak that we were talking about in the pre-game segment from I8 was definitely delivered from them.
Even the Faulty Devils also, this time they are having 5 defeat points in their hands. They started by going for the bridge block against the side of Metershot Sky, a perfectly placed bridge camp over there, bridge block over there, and a well executed one also. Later on also they managed a few more defeat points in their favor. That was very unfortunate. Sad Boy made the very mature and a perfect decision to prioritize the circle and leave the teammates out there in the open to fight against the side of I8, but they didn't anticipate that, yes, Quantum Rage Goku is keeping their crosshairs onto him.
Absolutely. With that, let's move on ahead, of course, from the Oppo F21 Pro moments to the damage graph itself, where we know who got the chicken dinner. We know who were the ones who reigned in supreme in this game. Now, again, 52 Esports is another team to actually commend in terms of how the day has not been in their favor, but this final Erangel game that they right now played was definitely something that they converted into decent amount of points for themselves. Even though we can clearly see when it comes down to the damage or the elimination, it weren't that many from the side of 52 Esports. But again, the best part is the fact that they were alive and they had those players, all of their 4 players remaining till the final few moments of the game.
Certainly, in the damage graph, yes, Quantum Breach, Triple Esports, FS, I8, all the big names are there. Even Magnus is also there, dishing out 1,000 more damage over there, but not able to capitalize on it and convert those knocks into the finishes. That way, only 2 finish points to them. But yes, Magnus, they had a good position till I think the fourth circle, having the complete Western control for themselves, but later on they started fizzling out. But in the overall ranking, they're still on the top with 98 points.
Indeed, indeed. Along with that, of course, a commendable effort coming in right here for the teams that have pushed on forth and made a jump, as we do have, of course, Freestyle making a 3 position jump, sitting on the 3rd position right there. Alongside that, of course, a commendable, of course, approach was for 52 Esports, as we were just talking about it. But Quantum Rage Triple Esports, a valiant effort is what it was, as they're only 1 point shy, sitting on the 9th and 10th position. But it was an important one. It was a very important game from them.
Well, certainly, and they delivered the performance that was required from their side. That's why in the ninth spot, like you perfectly pointed. But Triple Esports this time, this particular week, Triple Esports is also impressing me. The way they are picking the fights, getting those defeat points in the position, everything has improved from their side as well. But I8 Esports, well, with this particular game, they have taken a jump of 3 points, and now they are on the 16th spot with 35 points.
Well, again, Shadow, I asked you, where do you want the zone? You said towards the northern side. I asked you about team prediction, and you said that definitely we want to be able to see I8 bring itself a comeback story. And it seems like, well, everything worked out perfectly, because that is exactly what the storyline is till now. It worked out perfectly. I8 were able to bring themselves back up in terms of the aggression, in terms of the way they rotated. Again, the zone was not working in their favor. We spoke about that, and you said that no, it should be better if the zone does not favor them. And again, kudos to you. So with that, we move on towards the final game of the day, which is going to be played on Miramar, where of course Group A will not be participating, Shadow.
Yes, Magnus, Tita, Team BABLU, and 52 Esports, they will be sitting out. But with that also comes a question, Lakshay, the prediction for the final game. Which team do you think is this time in Miramar is going to get the win?
Well, let's see. So this entire thing that I spoke about was because it seems like whatever you're saying is coming true. So perhaps to start the day off, I asked you, and perhaps to close the day off, I'll ask you again for the final game. What team would you want to predict?
You're not
And that's
going
the
to be
exact same
happy.
that I'm going to choose.
You're not going to be happy about my prediction.
Okay, let's see.
I want 52 to get a win this time because the way the
Oh,
smart gameplay is coming from their side, I think they deserve it.
all right. So let's go with 52. Both of us are going to go with 52 Esports, and perhaps I'm sure the fans are going to be elated as well. That in
I'm
week 3,
sorry.
52 Esports.
H2E, sorry. H2E, the southern
H2E.
team. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Team
All
that
right.
drops towards the southern side, na?
Yes.
That is a very impressive performance coming from H2E in the map of Miramar, both Miramars in fact. So I think they deserve a win this time.
All right, perfect then. Let's go with H2E. Let's go with H2E for sure. I think we're expecting a little too much from H2E because they've already delivered some wonderful performances for the day. But hey, you know what? Fingers crossed. Let's definitely hope for the best for the side of H2E. And perhaps in this final game, Director, you can also feed in whatever prediction you want. If at all you want to change anything or not, entirely up to you. But yeah, from our side, it's going to be H2E. And yeah, it's definitely a very good prediction because after all, the way the consistency is being showcased from H2E, the way they've been able to read the lobby, and the rotations being made from their side also, looking very, very comfortable.
Certainly, but I'm a little worried because if it comes down to Southern Circle, we have I8 also in the lobby.
I was just thinking the same thing.
That can be a bit problem. We have
Yes.
Team BABLU, we have Team I8, we have Team TUF. Every single team that likes to drop towards the side of the island, we have all those teams in the picture. That also means a Southern Circle is going to be very interesting this time.
Very critical also, of course. And I was just about to point out and mention this as well. I mean, you honestly just read my mind. I was thinking about I8 as well because I8 in this Erangel game, they showcased a perfect comeback story from their side. They showcased a perfect the aggression, the synergistic approach that we've seen from them from week 1 was all there in this particular game. They only walked away with 4 placement points, but so many elimination points. So yeah, that's a little bit of a fear that I have, that okay, maybe I8 could be one of those teams that might be able to capitalize and bring in points, and perhaps even walk away with a chicken dinner for themselves. But we'll see. We'll see. From our side, of course, H2E is confirmed for this final games prediction.
Certainly. And now I want to change my mind. Let's give the teams a northern circle, complete northern circle. Since we have so many
Okay.
teams that likes dropping in towards the southern side, that is going to be a very interesting mix when everyone has to go for an early rotation towards the southern side, somewhere in Campo Military or Ruins, anywhere towards northern side. I think that is going to be very interesting.
Honestly, I will 100% agree with that, but not for this game. For perhaps tomorrow's games. All right. Why? I'll tell you. Because I, like you spoke about the map of Miramar, I love the ruins. Like if I'm playing the game, I always go towards ruins. It's one of those extreme ends that nobody wants to visit, but it is such a cool place. Just like you talk about Oasis. And now for that ruins, 52 Esports is almost always there. Almost always there. On the map of Erangel, they love to go towards Savoni. On the map of Miramar, they love to go towards the ruins area. But this game, they're not playing. So therefore, I will not back you for the zone to go towards that side. But apart from that, 100% would love to have that zone go towards there, and perhaps favor 52 Esports.
Maybe 52 will be happy if we see a northern circle, because when all the teams are busy fighting amongst each other towards the southern side, 52 will be reaping the benefits of their position inside the circle. But we are already second guessing what circle is going to be there.
Exactly.
We also need to realize that 64 players are in the lobby
Yep.
that are also offering the offerings to PUBG gods for their favorite circle.
That is so true. That is so true. Therefore, I gave you the liberty to choose, because last time, before the game started in the pre-game segment, we spoke about every single thing that took place, right? I spoke about, right, perhaps if you're choosing I8, then maybe it should be a military-based zone. You're like, no, we do not want it to be. We wanted to go towards the north, and it went towards north. And I8 performed beautifully and perfectly, even though they had to make a rotation, even though they had to fight their way through the entirety of it. And again, so therefore, I'm definitely keeping my hopes alive, keeping my fingers crossed that this time around, once again, your prediction comes true. And yeah, we'll see who gets that prediction point correct or not.
Well, if H2 is winning, we both are getting the point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But the chances are little less. But still, I want the performance that H2 is delivering today, and
Right.
day before yesterday also. They are showcasing the skills that they can be the contender for that win, for that winner chicken dinner in the map of Miramar special. We'll see what's gonna
Definitely.
happen.
Definitely is the case, and definitely is a possibility. um let's see. But along with that, of course, we do have the flight path on our screens as it starts all the way from the west, from El Pozo. And this time around, in fact, it's going to be majorly favoring towards the northern side once again. If we had 50 esports, would have been a perfect approach for them, because they go towards the trailer park and ruins area. But right now, the majority of the flight path is going to be favoring towards north. That means perhaps the anticipation, at least from my side, for the zone is going to be towards south. Maybe towards Chumasaira, maybe towards Impala, Porto Parecio, which we've not seen for a while now. But let's see where the zone is going to be. In fact, more importantly, is going to be where the first blood situation is going to be created. Which team is going to be the one that'll be up front? As of now, as we talk about the northern side, we've got Triple Esports, all four players moving towards the northern side of El Pozo, and they don't need to worry about anything of that matter. Right south of their position is going to be TFT. But the teams that are going to be in close contestation, all right, well, there we have the zone. It is a basic zone, a normal zone for Miramar, where of course it brings itself towards La Bendita, Los Leones, pretty much being the center. But the first blood situation, again, I still am questioning as to what team could it possibly be.
BMW and Freestyle, or maybe Faulty Devils or Regicide. Anything can happen. But let's see what's gonna
True.
happen as H2E. Well, right now they are heading towards the side of Los Higos, and after seeing the circle, my gut feeling is saying this is going to be I8's game. The circle,
You think?
yeah,
Okay.
win at least a very good performance from this side,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Grounders
I
as well.
mean, true, true, true. Definitely. No, I will definitely second that approach because the momentum is definitely going in IH's favor. The zone is definitely going in IH's favor. But I don't know why I have this feeling that perhaps in the last moment the zone is going to move north and it's going to go towards La Bandita and leave Los Leones. But again, that too will work out in IH's favor because of how they rotate, because of the aggressive stance that they are already working towards from the previous game of Erangel.
Well, certainly, I8 tends to leave the city of Los Leones quite early. They go for the early rotation and head towards the side of La Bindeta. And North Esports, they go for the Los Leones city area quite early. They had perfectly synergized. The moment I8 leaves Los Leones, North Esports go to the city of Los Leones and have a complete control over there. So let's see what's going to happen. But on the northern side, 3 Esports, I'm worried about them because Triple Esports is there, Grounders are there, and Tyrant is in a very close proximity to Grounders.
Indeed. So this is one thing actually, because this is the map of Miramar, we know that the initial game is going to be a little slow. So perhaps we can take out the time to even talk about this that I've been thinking about. For 3x Esports, every single time I notice them create a very broad drop zone for themselves. All of the players, whatever map that they're on. Why do you think is that? Like they don't try and stick close; they try and spread themselves across the entirety of a map, and then they slowly make the rotation to get uh, together and as a team then push forth based on where the zone is. But what do you think is the reason for that? What is that approach from 3x?
In Erangel, they like dropping towards the side of Ruins, and Ruins is one of the cities which doesn't offer too many vehicles. So two of the players from their side go and grab those vehicles which are necessary for the rotations, and then in the process they'll go for the primary loot towards the smaller compounds. So in Erangel, maybe that could be the reason, but in this Miramar, maybe to get an information because Grounders and so many other teams also likes dropping in the closer proximity. So maybe for the information, the path is clear, the player can become the anchor to lead the remaining players inside the circle.
Perhaps, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Because they do that on the map of Sanhok as well, as they go towards the western approach, and they again then stretch themselves thin. And that again is a perfect approach from their side as they try and get the information against their opponents. And then, like we can clearly see on our screens, they get close, they get together, and then they take on those fights synergistically as a team, as they should. And that in turn, of course, for week one, it worked out perfectly for 3x Esports. But now that approach seems to be a little fizzling. But again, I cannot say that because to start the day off, 3x Esports were the one who walked away with a chicken dinner. So yeah, it is a perfect change of strategy in terms, I can say, that I've seen from this team. And it works out perfectly for them. But again, right now, it's only 6 minutes into the game as we do have Regicide getting closer and closer against the players of 3x Esports. And the best part for 3x Esports right now, it seems to be the fact that Regicide are not even aware of the positioning and surrounding of 3x Esports. And this is where, again, the first blood situation can be capitalized from the side of 3x.
Deja vu moment for me. 3x Esports having this very compound to themselves, and some other team tried to show on their doorstep, and 3x completely annihilated them. It was miracle, I think, that showcased a very good performance in week number one in
Yep,
Miramar.
yep,
Yes,
yep,
the
yep.
remaining players were eliminated, but this time the improvement, if you can see, Lakshay, they are sticking together. In week one, yes, they won that fight, but they lost the plot. But this time they are being careful.
Exactly, right? Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to bring up in terms of the storyline that 3x is being showcasing, and in terms of even the Pakistan lobby itself, in terms of how these teams, they read each other and themselves and then change within a matter of 10 days, 14 days, within a matter of 1 hour in the next game itself. And that is something that definitely can be spoken about for 3x Esports for sure, in terms of how they've uplifted themselves. And right now, that's exactly what is being showcased. It is definitely so on point, as you said, deja vu moments indeed. Because we were just talking about it, and 3x was the one that was on the screen and was so close to getting that first elimination for themselves.
And one more thing, like Fixes was also pointing out in week number 3, this time teams are trying to squeeze inside the center of the circle. They're trying to hold the center from the very start of the game. And this time also we are witnessing the same thing. Apart from few teams who are going for the late rotation, every single team is trying to hold the center. In the epicenter, we have Regicide over there.
Exactly, and that is again the approach that was being showcased in the first week from other teams, but now each and every single team is focusing on that. And that in turn, I think, has resulted in. So, for example, if we talk about I8, in the first week, in the first game itself, if you remember, I8 were the ones who were getting into the fight, who were getting into a little too much of a chaotic mess for themselves. And that is where we saw a loss of synergy from their side as they participated in fights. So then they changed their strategy to fall back and not go very early into the zone, but not very late as well. At the same point, from 52 Esports, we've seen every single time they try and enter the zone very, very late. From the side of Metershot Sky, we've seen every single time they try and enter the zone very, very late. But we'll come back to that conversation because that storyline has definitely kind of changed from the starting to now. But with that, talking about now and on our screens, we do have only a few seconds, and of course, the zone is already constricted. But on our screens, we do have T20 QWERTY, Khan, and Voltrix against the players of TmW. Now, TmW, there is one player apart from M7 who's on the left hand side of what we're looking at, and that can be a very crucial and critical position for TmW to convert a point for themselves.
Certainly, they can convert those points, but right now the team that is going for the points are the players of TFT Faulty Devils. But this time they are the one not getting the points. In fact, giving the points to the opponents, especially to 3x Esports, as Tyrant takes Tyler down from a moving vehicle, gets a confirmation as well. And now Faulty Devils, they have started crumbling down. The aggressive stance is not working for them right now. But on the other side, QWERTY, the way they converge the players of TmW, they managed to get one knock, but Khan also got traded off in that process. But they need to be careful of the position of Hayan, as he is having a height advantage, and rescue or a revival to Khan at this situation is not going to be so easy because Hayan, he can simply lob a grenade and knock another player also down. But Reaper managed to take down in the close frontal backer. Voltrox also down from the side of QWERTY.
What a perfect conversion. What a perfect fight this was from the side of TmW. I mean, Hayan, as you were mentioning it, that position is exactly what I was talking about. That angle that he created was such a beautiful one to be able to convert this fight for himself. But now it seems like the player, Gravity, from the side of T20 QWERTY, he is looking flawless in terms of how he's approaching things. And right now, he's the one who's going to be able to dominate and get this fight in his favor, because right now, TmW is only left with one player. That's going to be M7. Now, M7, if you remember, in the first week itself on the map of Erangel, we saw him take on jumping shots and, of course, was able to bring down and mow down his opponents. But this time around, he's facing T20 QWERTY. Gravity, 420 boy, as well as Khan, they stood their ground, they took on that fight, and then it's all thanks to Gravity that the domination came in force, and M7 is now the only and the final player remaining for TmW.
And this is also a deja vu moment because Triple Six, like you all pointed out on one of the game, he in fact usually from the side of TmW, he's always the one who goes for the placement points because he's the last man standing, and he manages to be in the top 10 at least. So I hope this time also he get good placement points for himself and his team as well. But talking about the circle, Picardo is completely unoccupied, and Team FS, they are scouting the area. They need to be a bit careful as grounders are also in the close proximity from the northern side. The very team we were talking about, Team Qwerty, is also present. And the moment they are going to hear any sort of commotion, maybe they will decide to do a third party, which we don't get to see too much in the map of Miramar. So possibly they won't do it. But right now they are also surrounded by too many other teams that are also trying to rotate. But talking about grounders, let's see what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And with that, you talk about the zone itself, which is going to be favoring the players of the grounders. Now, it has moved towards Picardo being the center, where indeed we do have 3x's players. Again, 3x is one of those teams from the first week itself. They are the ones who make that early rotation to get in the zone. And this time, definitely, once again, it is favoring them. And along with that, of course, the zone takes another curveball shift. TUF, once again, they have a possibility, they have a chance to convert this game for themselves. Same is the case for, of course, Regicide. But all in all, it all boiled down to who will be the one who will get this game and the zone for themselves. Because this is, I think, only the third zone, fourth zone. And the team that we predicted, H2E, is coming in, entering from the south right now.
Well, they are, and they're heading in a very wrong direction towards the side of TUF over there, where 3x
Exactly.
is also coming from the northern side. That means a perfect situation for a third party is being created right now.
That's exactly what I was looking at, and that's exactly what I'm worried about for the side of our prediction. But that's the reason I think you also did not want to push forth as to what to anticipate and what to expect, because yes, the rotation that they're making, they have no idea. It is going to be a troublesome one for them. At the same point, on the other front, we do have the grounders on our screen as they jump in from the northern side, if I'm not mistaken, and they have been brought down to a 3-man squad. Now, right around them in their vicinity, they do have a couple of teams that they are going to have to be careful of. One of them, I do believe, is going to be FS, and they are taking on perfect shots, but FS themselves have a little bit of a trouble of their own that they need to be worried about, and that's going to be in the name of Metershot for now. Now, talking about the compound, yes, it is in favor of FS, but the high ground is in favor of Metershot, and so the fight can be a little risky for FS to convert this, but we'll have to see, because again, we are looking at 56 players remaining, but all 16 teams are still surviving.
16 teams, 56 players are surviving. That means teams are taking things very seriously on the final week, and this is very well visible in terms of the numbers of the players alive. But Metershot Sky, well, they're creating the flank angles as well, but they also need to be careful because other teams are also making their moves, and anytime anyone can spot. Like R3D just spotted the plus of Metershot Sky, but the blue is already closing in. So R3D, good decision from their side not to fire any kind of bullet, any bullet in the side of Metershot Sky. But I'm not worried about FS right now. Metershot,
True.
they are in the open.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking about as well. For FS, they had the safety net of the compound, and that's exactly what they could have worked towards. And it seems like the over-aggression from the side of FS has faltered, or maybe it's perhaps the possibility of them wanting to get into the zone as the zone moved away. And in that, the third-party approach from the side of R3D, in that perfect timing, has resulted in them perhaps being the ones who will walk away with points, elimination points for themselves. But alongside all of that, we do have the first team to get eliminated. That's going to be none other than TFD. And going back to the fight that was on our screens, it is going to be R3D against the players of FS, where that third-party approach from R3D has now resulted in a frontal battle, and now Metershot is at the back end. Metershot is not even interested. They right now should utilize this time to get into the zone. But from the top right hand side, we can clearly see that they are getting closer and closer towards this fight. They, I'm sure, can hear all the gunshots that were taking place, and now they want to be able to capitalize against R3D. And what a perfect approach this was from the side of Metershot, as they have been able to dominate in this fight as one player and final player from R3D is remaining, and that's going to be none other than Destroyer. But they're all knocked down, and Metershot still does not have any points for themselves.
And this is where freestyle is chiming in, capitalizing on the situation. R3D has already been dealt with. Destroyer, a blessing in disguise for him. He can go for the rescue onto his fallen comrades as freestyle is dealing with Metershot Sky. But they are backing from this fight. Then realize they need to move inside the circle and leave things around for Metershot Sky to deal with. And he'll see. Going for the confirmation, Destroyer still the man standing from the side of R3D, and he gets eliminated courtesy to Ash and Metershot Sky. Well, good defeat points in their hands, but they also lost few of the players in the process. But talking about the circle, Laksha, this time, the circle has finally taken a little northern shift on the northern side of Los Leones, exactly how you predicted. But H2E, they are up for some trouble right now.
Oh, they're in a world of trouble. Definitely, they're in a world of trouble. But we'll come back to that as they try and make this rotation. Because right now we do have Quraysh Esports, and along with that, on the other side of the map itself, we do have Quantum Rage looking very closely and keenly towards the compound that is held right now from the side of Triple Esports. A team that walked away with a perfect chicken dinner in the previous Erangel game. This time around, they're going to have to, of course, defeat their opponents at the same point. From one fight to the next, we push on forth, where TUF is against I8's players right now. And TUF's virus on our screens is pushing on with the nade parade. But again, a trade is being showcased from both the sides in terms of at least the nade and not a knock for yet. But the best part for TUF is the fact that they are in a compound, and the safety shell is being extended towards the players of I8 as well. But this is a fight that's taken place towards the northwestern side of the zone. Now, once again, the best part for both these teams is that they are taking this fight in the safety net of their own compounds. But from the backlines, if R3G have a perfect sight and opening, they can very well retaliate, and they can bring in a third party between both these teams.
But certainly, Reggie side, they have this epicenter under their control. On the other side, on the northern side, the other teams around us who have a hard compound for themselves. But TUF and I8 Esports, let's see what's going to happen. As I8, they don't have the numbers advantage. They are three-man army, and so are the players of TUF. The Molotov, the smokes, and the grenades, everything is being utilized, but none of them is able to find a connection onto each other. Let's see how things are going to pan out, as right now things are in a stalemate situation. No one wants to make any kind of a mistake. Joker Sir is still guarding the window angle, and Blade comes right in front of him, and Blade kind of knew because of the foot cues, sound cues, and he took down Joker Sir over there.
What an extended fight this is turning out to be, of course. For I8, they've already lost one of their players. For TUF, they have an opportunity to be able to capitalize this fight in a 4v3 situation, but they themselves took an ill-fated approach as they got in front, and thus lost one of their players, at least got knocked one of their players. But for I8, it is a do and die operation right here. If they're not able to capitalize in this, then it is a done mission, done game for them. At the same point in time, for TUF, they are retaliating. They are pushing on like a perfect punch and a perfect team. And that in turn, of course, we can clearly see has resulted in I8 getting eliminated. Now, I8 is again one of those teams that was supreme in week 1 in terms of the points lead that they had, in terms of the way they were taking on those fights, especially from day 3 of week 1. But then now things are definitely not looking likely to be in their control. At the same point, as we move on forth, it is going to be now North Esports taking on shots and fight against the players of Quraysh. Quraysh were able to dominate, bring down the players of NES to a one-man army, but now it is a 1v1 conversation between both these teams. Zameen from one side, and on the other front is going to be, of course, Hasni, and Quraysh's player easily going to be able to dominate. What a perfect approach that was in that fight. And now again, from one fight to the next, we push on forth, where TUF is now getting hammered against the players of H2E. Now, H2E have already lost 2 of their players based on the rotation that they made. But Assad, along with Dread, they both are bringing in a perfect controlled approach and fight. And best part, of course, is the fact that they are on top of the hill, where TUF is at the receiving end, and they're left with just a one-man army that's going to be Virus. A few more sprays, and that can be the end of TUF and get us that much more closer to our prediction, Shadow.
Certainly, but Thor is still bleeding out, and Virus, he needs to be a bit careful because his position has been given away courtesy to the smoke. And look at Hasni, but Hasni has already been dealt by Assad of H2E, and that means Quraysh Esports has been eliminated at 10th spot. Now, Thor being revived by Virus over there, but H2E going for the close frontal battle against Virus, who has not no time to heal, gets taken down again, and with that, the last player of TOF also bids bye-bye, and TOF has been eliminated at 8th spot. H2E, 2-man, still standing, good defeat points. They have the circle, they have the good position inside the circle as well, where all the other teams are fighting on the western front of the periphery, and G side, they are dominating over there as 3x has been eliminated, Quantum Rage has been eliminated, and H2E did a perfect third party and managed to get few defeat points in their favor as well.
Well, with that, only 13 players remaining right now, 5 teams in total. It is going to be a close contestation. It seems likely. Well, I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, definitely for now, Regicide, they are the ones who have the numbers going in their favor. H2E with only a 2-man army, trying their level best to be able to control things and control the situation of this zone for themselves. On top, of course, on front is going to be FS's player, where we can clearly see Asad has already been able to spot Mom 2 from the side of FS. And a spray was able to connect, but in all, the numbers is what is being favored from the side of Regicide.
But certainly the numbers and the position also, the dips, the terrains, everything Regicide has in their favor. But right now they are focusing their attention onto the plus of gravity over there, and that is where H2E can do a third party, but they need to clear the backs first. They need to deal with the plus of Team FS, and Assad with that grenade is trying to do so, and the way FS plus are joined at the hip, a single grenade is enough to take down one of the player and dish out a lot of damage to other one also, if not take him down as well. But Bas finds a knock onto 420 boy. No, it was Nocto who found a knock onto over there, but FS, their attention is on the players of Grounders as they managed to take down Evil Boy over there, and Mr. Black is also on a very low HP.
Oh, this is a close contestation, of course, where indeed Gravity, once again from the side of T20 Cody, Gravity is the final player who's pushing on all by his lonesome, tried his level best to be able to capitalize and get those points for himself. 9 defeat points, 9 elimination points is what T20 Cody got eliminated at. Along with that, now we do have, of course, Zarbaf and Momtu, the 2 players who are still surviving and standing from the side of Freestyle, trying their best to get the points, to get the chicken dinner for themselves. But Regicide, I want to be able to see what exactly is Regicide doing. They've got the numbers advantage. They're slowly but surely trying to gauge as to where the opponents are. H2E is in between. Assad goes down. Along with that, again, a very difficult sandwich situation is what H2E dealt with right there. But in all, once again, the Grounders is another team to bring up and talk about, because they are being very, very quiet. They're being very, very silent, and they know exactly where the fights are taking place. But again, the position is something that is being favored from the side of Regicide, as well as, of course, H2E and FS.
Dread, he tossed the last smoke he had in his hands, and Regicide, they are still hunting for Dread over there. It's not going to be very long when his position is going to be given away. Regicide having the numbers advantage. Red up for a 1v4 fight against Regicide. How he's going to deal with the situation, that's the main question. But Regicide also, they don't want to overextend right now, because they do know there is enough smoke that they won't be able to spot exactly where Dread is. In the process, they don't want to lose out on their player as well. But on the other side, FS, they're picking fight with the players of Grounders over there as they're closing in the distance, and finally smoke disappears and Red's position comes out in the open, and Red side eliminates him. H2A has been eliminated. Now 3 teams, 9 players still in the lobby.
Absolutely, 3 teams, only 3 teams. We've got a 3-man army coming in from the side of the Grounders. We've got a 4-man approach from the side of the Regicide team, and a 2-man approach from FS. Now, who's going to be the cheeky one? The Grounders, they've been very, very quiet. They've been very patient. They know exactly where the fight is. They understand that their positioning is at a lower ground. So therefore, they've been very quiet in all of this affair. But at the same point, it is Regicide who I believe should be a little bit more careful, because all the crosshairs now are going to be focused on them. They've got the numbers advantage, yes, but they've made such a loud noise that all the other teams are now going to be focusing on them, from the Grounders towards the FS. But it seems like there is a little bit of a diversion. There's a little bit of a bifurcation that's been created right here, where FS is bolting on and pushing on against the aggressive team of the Grounders, and the Grounders being at the receiving end, being at the lower end of this entire hill, and the location itself is just not favoring them. But at the same point, again, FS, they are going to have to be very, very careful as they take down the Grounders, because now they've let know of their position to Regicide as well.
Certainly, and Grounders, they didn't anticipate this at all. All players in a single vehicle. Vehicle gets blown up, and Team Grounders has been eliminated at third position, as the last player who was left behind also has been dealt by Freestyle, and Freestyle, looking so very aggressive, managed to take down one of the player of Regicide down, and the other player also took a lot of damage. And with that, the winner chicken dinner finally comes to Regicide with 10 elimination and total of 25 points.
What a perfect game. What a perfect conversion for the side of Regicide right there. Pushing all the way up to 8th position in the overall ranking, 25 points in total, along with, of course, 10 eliminations. A perfect conversion for Regicide right there. A very much needed approach that was required from Regicide, and that's exactly what they worked towards and got it working. And of course, the synergy was showcased right there as they took the fight, as they were able to approach from every single direction and were aware of the entirety of the fight taking place. And the best part was that they were on top of that hill.
Certainly, I think that was the main reason they were able to capitalize, because the position they were in, the IGL's decision of holding on to that particular hill area was so very good that they were able to capitalize and get a win for themselves, because all other teams, they were struggling with the position only.
That is so true. That is so very true. But with that, we are now pushing on to a short little break. Stick around. We'll be right back with the post-game analysis.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to PUBG Mobile Pakistan Pro League Fall 2022, brought to you by Oppo. And my name is Shadow. Alongside me is Lakshay, and Lakshay, finally, Regicide also gets a win in the map of Miramar.
Oh, what a perfect game that was. Definitely. Again, I mean, all my hopes were towards H2E, definitely till the final moment. But like in the way the game was converted for Regicide, it was perfect. It was beautiful. At the same point, talking about the MVP, we do have, of course, Zarba from the side of FS to be able to walk away with 5 eliminations, 941 damage that he was able to dish out.
Certainly, and he was taking a lot of shots as well, because 247 healings were done. But along with him, the players we need to focus on are Nocto on the second spot with 4 elimination from the side of Regicide. Then we have Gravity of Team Quirty with 3 elims, and Asad of H2E with 5, and Mr. Black of Grounders with 2 eliminations. And H2E, yes, and Gravity also, the way Gravity is playing today, that is very impressive.
Definitely. It is more than commendable, in fact, especially from the side of T20 Query. I remember from last season, T20 Query has definitely gone up and down in terms of the way they've approached this season. But yeah, Gravity, he's held it very strong, especially in week number 3. And that in turn, of course, has resulted him being one of the players to focus upon from this game. With that, moving on to the match ranking, we know who got the chicken dinner. But following them very closely, look at that, Shadow. We were so close. H2E sitting on the second position right there.
It was my prediction.
9 eliminations.
Yes, but it was my prediction. So they are not getting that 15 placement points. They will be on the top, everything they will get, but they won't get that 15 placement points. But yes, a very good gameplay coming from so many other teams, also TMW also tried to go for the aggressive stance. This time it didn't work out in the favor. Although the situation turned around in their favor, but the way Gravity and Team Quoty, entire Team Quoty, turned everything in their favor, that was quite impressive. Even I8 also, the way TUF annihilated completely I8, that was also quite impressive.
Oh, definitely. Again, I mean, I8, I think all of their book secrets, right?
Yeah.
They've all been read. They've all been dealt with from the opponents. And now they all know, the opponents know, the entire lobby knows how to deal with I8. And this final moment right here, again, the grounders, the only thing that went bad or wrong for them in this Oppo F21 Pro moments is the fact that they were at the lower end of that hill. And that in turn resulted in them not being able to convert the game for themselves.
Well, certainly, but having a look at the damage graph, it was Team Regicide all over the place. More than 200 damage, 2000 damage they were dishing out, 10 defeat points for themselves. Even Freestyle Grounders also were dishing out a lot of damage, but it was H2E that was able to convert that damage into the elimination point as well, because 1318 damage H2E was dishing out and 9 defeat points already in their favor.
Looking at this damage graph, Shadow, look at
Mhm.
I8 right there. Right? In the previous game also we noticed
Yeah.
I8, we were talking about him. I think in the next 3 days, I8 is going to pick up pace like nothing. They are going to get the long lost what should I say? Goodwill, long lost points. All right, let's just say points, long lost points that they are not being able to get in week number 3. I think they're going to be able to capitalize on that in the next remaining 3 days. The way that they are playing right now, because 1,000 damage and only 3 elimination points converted for them. But moving away from that conversation towards the overall ranking itself, the storyboard itself clearly indicating the fact that Magnus Esports has been very consistent without a chicken dinner. They're sitting on the first page. Along with that, of course, we move on towards the second page. Now, this is where a lot of ups and downs have taken place today.
Well, certainly, lots of up and down. And talking about the up, grounders, they have taken a jump of 3 points, and right now they're sitting on the 12th spot with 53 points. Finally, all the teams that were on the bottom in week number 1, they have started to replace the top teams and be on the first page of the overall ranking, because this time, even the Faulty Devils, right now they're sitting on the 20th spot, but still the way they are picking the fights is impressive. Yes, they are picking few bad fights, because of which only 4 placement points, but look at the elimination points, 21 elimination points, only 3 less than 3x Esports, who are on the 11th spot.
Exactly, exactly. What a perfect name in that. Faulty Devils. I mean, they definitely are showcasing the devil in them by bringing in the 21 elimination points. All they need to focus on is a little bit more of that placement point. And that's what we've seen and that's what we've noticed as well. One good game, and these teams end up jumping 10 positions, 8 positions. But with that, let's move on ahead and have a look at the kill leaders, elimination leaders that are going to be in front of us. And definitely, Gravity, his name ought to be there. Yes, I8 has dropped down a little bit, but Gravity from T2040, the way he's picked up his pace, it is phenomenal and commendable. 18 minutes and 18 seconds of average survival time, 98 eliminations, and then following him below is going to be Magnus Esports' finisher with 91 and 16,800 damage. The clear difference is being showcased right there.
Well, certainly, yes, the difference is there, but finisher is also there with 91 elimination. But in week number 1, it was all about I8. Now, Blade
Yes.
and Uzm, they are on the 3rd and the 4th spot. And IQ, the guy, we were hoping he will be in the top spot right now, in the 7th spot with 71 elimination, and Ghost also on the 6th with 73 eliminations.
True, absolutely. I mean, there is a little bit of a downfall, that's for sure, that can be seen. But again, you talk about the league leaderboards, then we know that I8 is up top over there, and there's no worry for them basically. But right now, as we do have, of course, the second page, it is a little bit of a downfall that we've seen from their side. Alongside that, let's move on ahead and